Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day. We're up.
I got a friend named Zach Esposito, and he used to do that. We would get done with practice, and every technique had to be perfect. Even getting undressed and then back dressed was. This dude would sometimes get undressed 3 times.
What?
He would get dressed. Maybe he'd put something on in the wrong order. I don't know what he would do, but then he would take it off. And he would do it again. He would take it off, and then if he was drilling, every move. It's like I don't know what that disease is called.
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
That. Right?
Yeah.
It was with everything, though. And he became an NCAA champion.
Doesn't it make sense, though, that, like, those kind of things, if you could channel them into something positive, like, if you're a maniac.
Yeah.
And you could, like, say if you're, like, a compulsive gambler, you can't stop gambling.
Yeah.
You just got to get out there and place bets. You got to place, there's guys like that. If they could channel that same energy into something else, like
Could you imagine? Could you imagine, like, an athlete that's like that?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
I'm sure he's
For
like
as compulsive of a gambler as he is, that was his approach to basketball.
Yes.
So nobody could be greater.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. Exact same thing. It's just one of them is dangerous.
One of them
will fuck up your life, and one of them will make you the GOAT.
Will make you the GOAT, but the other side of it is it don't turn off. And that's the fucked up part.
That's the fucked up part. It doesn't turn off.
Having that as a thing, and then the competitiveness never turns off.
Right.
It drives you crazy.
Well, that's why Tyson didn't work out for years.
Yep.
You know, Mike did my podcast twice, and the first time he did it, Mike was, like, heavier. He was smoking weed all the time. He was so chill. It's like, wow. It's like Mike Tyson's, like, such a sweet guy. And then Mike Tyson signed up for the Roy Jones fight. And the next time he came in, he was 225.
Yeah.
Forearms were jacked, and he was intense.
Yeah.
And I made a decision to make the table wider on my podcast studio because I was so nervous being that close to him.
So,
I was like, I gotta have a little just to separate, like, from really intense people, so I could collect my thoughts.
Yeah, he tapped back into that thing, right? He had suppressed it. When you saw him, and he was friendly, and he was nice, and he was smoking.
He was still friendly. He was still cool as fuck. But this was the real Mike Tyson.
But that was the guy because he tapped back into that monster.
He found it.
Because you gotta have the monster.
Have to.
In order to be a world champion in any type of combat sport, you have to have that monster.
Yeah.
A legit monster inside of you that doesn't really live in the real world. Because in the real world, he doesn't work.
Right.
In the real world, if you can't put that monster away at times, you don't work in life.
You're in trouble all the time.
You're in trouble all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that same monster, if you can control that motherfucker, then you're Mike Tyson.
You're Mike Tyson. But then that's why, like, he would see him skirt the line, right?
Yeah.
When he's talking to the reporter, that is still one of the craziest things I've ever witnessed. When he was on the stage and the reporter said something and Mike started talking about, if we were in jail, I would do this.
That's right.
Oh, my God.
I'd fuck you till you love me.
I'd fuck you till you love me. Joe, what? What?
Oh, my God.
But imagine that guy in that state trying to operate in the world with normal people like us.
Right.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
He's in jail.
Right.
Crazy.
It's crazy because the thing that made him great could also run away like a wildfire and burn everything around him.
And everybody.
Yeah. And when you're the man, and he was the man, then there's no restraints anymore, which is even crazier. Because now you crash a Rolls Royce, you just give it to the cops. Remember that?
Yeah. No matter what he did.
Take my car. I don't even want it.
No matter what he did. Take the car. I'm fine. They hide everything. You know, honestly, here it is right there. That's it. He was like, I'm like your daddy.
Let me hear this, Jamie. Give me some volume. Go from the beginning.
He's like breathing heavy.
Put your mother in the straight jacket, you punk ass white boy. Come in and tell me that if I fuck you in your ass, you punk white boy.
I mean.
You faggot. You can't touch me. You're not man enough. I eat your asshole alive, you bitch. Fuck you, you hoe. Come and say in my face, fuck you, ass for everybody. You bitch. Come on, you bitch. You're scared coward. You're not man enough to fuck with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch. Look at you scared now, you hoe. Scared like a little white pussy. Scared of the real man. I'll fuck you till you love me, faggot.
Jeez.
What do you say to someone?
Man, who is that guy? Who's that guy? Who's the reporter?
That's what I'm saying. Like, but what did that reporter have to say to get that?
Well, he said something that you should be in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
Wasn't this the one where Mike bit Lennox?
He bit Evander. Bit
Evander's ear, but didn't somebody get bit?
That was when he was about to fight Lennox Lewis, I believe. That
Wasn't
press
there
conference.
like a brawl before
there was a brawl.
this?
There was a brawl.
Did someone get bit, or am I imagining that?
I don't remember him getting bit. I remember him biting Evander's ear, and they got into a bit of a fight.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Were you there?
No, I watched it on TV.
Oh, I'm about to say that was crazy.
That was crazy. He
That was
bit
crazy.
a chunk of his ear off.
He couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
He couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
He was in a situation where he wasn't the man because he was so used to being the biggest, baddest mug in there. And in a situation where he wasn't, he goes, I have to go primal. It's all you know. Wow. You bite a motherfucker. He bit that motherfucker. Can you? And Evander Holyfield has somehow forgiven him.
Evander's amazing.
Dude, I love Evander Holyfield.
How good was he?
He was the best, bro.
How good was he? What a warrior.
Was
what a
the man.
warrior. In those Tyson fights, because he had to endure.
Yeah, he did.
You know, I mean, Tyson put it on him, and he endured.
All of them.
Remember those Riddick Bowe fights?
That's the
My
ones.
God.
The Riddick Bowe fights.
My God. Now we got to think like the Tyson fights after the Riddick Bowe fights.
Yes.
Which is even kind of crazy.
Riddick Bowe was good.
Riddick Bowe was
Those
good.
guys were good.
Those
Riddick
guys
Bowe,
were good.
Evander Holyfield.
He bit his leg.
Oh, he did bite his
Tyson
leg.
was forced to pay
He
Lewis
bit
around
his leg.
$360,000 for biting his leg. And the brawl almost saw the mega fight canceled altogether. Yeah, he bit his leg.
But that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he had to do something. Anytime he was threatened, you know, it's like when you're in the wild, right? I watch a whole bunch of shit. It's called one is Nature is Metal.
Oh, I love that
That's
page.
a sick page, bro. Nature is Metal.
It's the craziest shit.
It's the craziest.
Nature is so metal.
It is, dude. Some of the shit you see on that page is nuts. But you'll see a bear, and it'll just walk around, and it just fucks everybody up. But then when there's a bear that's as big as it starts to question, and it might cower down. But in this situation, Mike Tyson's not going to cower down to Lennox Lewis. So he bites him. Right? He bites him. He probably fell down. I'm going to tell you one thing. And I'll tell you this right now. When I was in that press fight with John Jones, I was still undefeated at the time. And we were at the MGM Grand, and he headbutted me, put his head on me. So I push him. He's an alpha male too. So the fucker attacks me.
Right.
Right? So we get to fighting.
Oh, boy.
So we get to fighting, right? And we're fighting, and Joe, the security guard from the UFC, falls under me. But now I'm on my back as we go flying off of the stage. I will say there was a thought to bite the motherfucker. Because what am I doing on my back? Right? I'm losing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
bite the son of a bitch. I ain't got no mouthpiece in my mouth. And if I would have bit him, that would have been like a reaction for a guy that usually will walk around in most places around this world as the alpha. And then when he finds himself on the bottom as the alpha, he's got to find a way to survive. So that's what Mike Tyson would do. He would go as primal as he could think. How do I survive? It was always survival with this guy. Wow. And if I would have bit him, you'd have been like, DC bit him, but it's not the first time we saw somebody bite a motherfucker down there. Because Mike Tyson did it 3 times. It's like it's so unfamiliar. I told my kids the other day at wrestling practice, Joe, I said, my whole life I feared getting pinned so much that I don't even sleep on my back to this day. Because I don't want those fuckers laying on their back in the wrestling room. I said I fell asleep on my back one day and woke up in a full panic attack. Jones had me on my back, man. That shit's unfamiliar. So if I would have did some crazy shit, that's just would have happened. That's what would have happened. Because you don't go to your back. Right?
That's hilarious that you can't sleep on your back.
You can sleep on your back?
Nah, I snore too loud when I sleep on my back.
I cannot sleep on my back. I really have kind of trained myself to where I'm like, I'm getting pinned. I don't let the kids in my wrestling room.
That's so wild.
I don't let my kids, when I'm talking, and if they lay back, get off your back. If they're stretching, I'm like, don't stay on your back too long. I try to trick them in their mind that their back is literally the worst place in the world. And that's what my coach did to me. Everything I did, get off your back. Get off your back. Then he would lock me on my fucking back. He would get dudes lined up in high school and college, and an arm triangle, which is the worst. You can't breathe. It's a headlock in wrestling, right? You obviously don't go chest down. You're trying to pin him. He would put me on my back in those situations with my fresh partners, and I would have to get off my back not to get pinned. So I just never got pinned in my whole career. I wrestled from 10 to 30, and I might have got pinned like 3 or 4 times in all those years because I was just so afraid of going to I just never got pinned.
Wow.
And I'm trying to implement that into my kids.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense if you make it the utmost priority.
Yeah.
Because you've talked about this before, that you see sometimes when guys get tired, they accept positions too
Yes.
easy. And when they go to the back, they don't immediately scramble. They don't immediately try to get an angle or an underhook or something. You'll see them accept the position.
Yep.
And then it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah.
When you're fighting or in those situations, you got to address it now or you're done. So when we're doing commentary and we're talking about the fight and somebody gets taken down and a guy starts to get into the positions where I get quiet because you're better there and you start walking through the submissions, how it's getting set up, and I'm like, oh, this dude's done. The guy on top is waiting. He's taking too long to address what's happening. And then next thing you know, oh my God, triangle, right? Because it's not just when the legs go up. You're like, this dude's he's starting to set up a triangle. And I'm like, he is, right? He's waiting. You got to always be in motion. You got to always be kind of thinking about the next step. Are you screwed? If you start accepting, you're screwed.
When you look at the guys that are really good at MMA submissions off their back, like Oliveira's real good. It's so crisp, though. When he gets those moments, those openings, just crisp.
Yep. Right away.
Yeah, he finds those arm bars and triangles, and he cinches submissions up so quick.
Yeah.
So quick. One of the quickest guys. I mean, does he have the most submissions in the history of the sport?
Yeah. Like 20.
They're so quick, man. The technique is so smooth.
How do you have 20 submissions? How do you submit 20 of the most dangerous people in the world?
The dude's a beast. I remember his first submission win in the UFC with Efrain Escudero.
Yeah.
Remember he hopped on his back?
You know that was here?
Was it here?
That was actually in Austin, I believe. There was a guy that came into a meeting today and said, my first pro fight, I was in Texas. He saw, I watched Efrain Escudero fight against Charles Oliveira, excuse me. But he's a beast, man. Like, these dudes are, the fighters today are just
They
crazy.
keep getting better. It's next level every time.
Every time.
Every time.
I bet when you go back, because you do a lot of, like, rewatching fights.
Yeah.
When you go back to the days before, whenever I was watching as a fan, thinking, unbelievable to watch Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz and these guys fight it. The way that they fought today, it's like prehistoric. It's crazy. The skill level.
The difference.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's like they're faster, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're more advanced, the techniques are better. And it happens in every sport, right? But in MMA now, you're seeing it. And it's like...
Chuck was just like a marauder.
He was crazy, wasn't he?
He was a marauder. I mean, the thing about Chuck was he had an iron chin.
He did.
And he was not scared to take shots. He would just wade into the fire. I mean, he was very skillful.
Yes.
But he was also willing to put himself in danger.
He also knew that if you hit him, he could take it.
Yeah.
But if he got to you,
right,
you were going down.
Yeah.
Or it would
full confidence in his power.
Or it would affect you so much that you would start to kind of turn away and then you're fucked. Then he would get you.
You remember the Babalu fight?
Dude, I swear to God, Joe, when I was in Stillwater, Oklahoma, I was on my Olympic run. You guys were doing a few pay-per-views a year. It wasn't every month like we do today.
Right.
I think was it 4, 5 a year?
I don't remember how many we did.
But it wasn't many. And it became, who's Chuck Liddell beating this time? That really was the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Is he beating Babalu this time? Is he beating Randy this time? Is he beating Randall? Like, who's he going to beat this time on the pay-per-view? Because he was massive. He was the biggest star. He was
going through his run as a champion. He was a motherfucker, dude. He was a scary guy.
Fucker was in shape, too.
Very good shape.
Dude, he was in shape.
Well, Hackelman. John Hackelman from the Pit.
Yeah, he's a psychopath.
That guy, he's a psycho. He's a great psycho.
Yeah.
I love that dude. But that guy was one of the first guys to implement like really unusual training, like wheelbarrows filled with rocks and shit, pushing them uphill. That pit, that training center that he had in San Luis Obispo.
It looked like it was outdoor.
Yeah, the cage was outdoors.
Yeah, I always looked at it like, are these guys training outside?
Hackelman's funny, man.
Yeah.
He's a fun dude. But he just was the first to realize that, like, functional training.
Yep, functional training.
This kind of work, those, like, really hard physical work along with technique.
Yeah.
It's like you just... it's interesting when you go back to the pioneers, how they all had to figure it out on their own. Like,
and that's what it was.
Figured it out on their own. The Lions Den did it their way.
And Militich trained like a bunch of champions.
Oh, yeah.
For a while, they had like the best.
You know?
Pulver, Robbie was in that gym. Matt Hughes was in that gym. Tim Sylvia was in that gym. They all were in that same gym.
Bro, the Tim Sylvia that knocked out Rico Rodriguez was a scary man.
A big dude, too.
He was jacked back then, too. You remember how jacked he got?
Yeah, he was big.
This is pre-USADA. Remember those days?
Oh, my goodness.
Everybody was saucy.
And USADA's going again.
Yeah.
USADA's going again.
Yeah, but they're going to have a new
But they're
program.
going to have a testing program.
Yeah, they're going to have a testing
It's too big now to go back to those days.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let them use peptides, which I think is a mistake.
I always told people, I said, I fought guys on steroids early in my career. You had to. I honestly don't ever recall taking a test when I was in Strike Force. 10, 11, 12.
Nope.
Drug tests?
No,
Like what?
no
I never in my
tests.
life took a. I never did. I never took anything, but I never got tested.
That's crazy.
So I was like, somebody was doing something.
of course.
And
Of
then they
course.
suspend poor Nick Diaz for weed.
Bro.
For like 5 years. They gave him like a 5-year suspension for weed.
Listen, the best example of all time clearly is Alistair when he was fighting Brock.
Bro, did you see that dude?
What was that?
In
he
his
was
Strike
a
Force?
superhero. That was UFC.
No, yeah, he fought him, but before even in Strike Force. I mean, when he was beating them dudes up in Strike Force.
Yeah, when he was beating dudes
Oh,
up
when
in
he
Strike
kicked
Force.
Brock in the side, though.
Bro, he was so terrifying when he was saucy.
Yeah,
when
he was.
like full Alistair Ream,
He's tiny now.
265. I know, it's crazy. He's a vegan now.
That's what he's like, not eating meat anymore.
No meat.
That's
Yeah.
impossible.
And he's weighs like 190. It looks like.
Yeah, there
this
he
is
is.
Uber Ream, son.
Look at him in the dream.
Let
Look
me
at him in
tell
dream.
you
Look at him in
something,
dream.
dude.
Oh, my God.
Uber Ream was a motherfucker. But it's like you need a bunch of things to be Ubering. Obviously, you need talent.
You gotta have skill, too. He was really good.
very skillful. Also, just tough as shit and not afraid. I mean, that guy got KO'd a bunch of times, and always fought. Just always fought like a warrior.
You know what?
He was a scary kickboxer.
You know what the problem with that was with Alistair, though? You could see when he stopped because he wasn't as sure of himself.
Yeah.
He had become so reliant on those abilities that, not even the ability, because he never lost the ability. He had become reliable on the comfort of knowing the stuff that he had done prior would make sure he's not tired.
Right.
He was more in shape.
He had more muscle.
And it messed with him towards the end of his career.
Of course, it had to.
It has to.
He had to know what an advantage it was having it.
Yeah.
Look, if he had come along in an era of no testing, he goes down as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
And he
Of
still
all
is.
time.
I still think he
still
is. Yeah, I still think he's one of the best of all time.
He's a great fighter, man.
Dude, he won everything.
Yeah.
When you win everywhere.
K1 Grand Prix.
Yes.
I mean,
When
that
you-
is wild.
When you win everywhere.
Everywhere.
You got skill. You won in Elite XC. You won in Strike Force. You won in the UFC. You won in K1.
And
you won in
he
Glory.
hurt Stipe.
He had Stipe.
He had Stipe for a moment
bad.
there.
He had him bad.
He just made a couple of errors. And Stipe.
You can't make no mistake against Miocic. He's a tough son of a gun.
survivor.
Yeah, he's tough.
He's so tough.
Yeah, he's very tough.
I was very upset when the Jones-Stipe fight got canceled. I was like, no.
I know. We were looking forward to it.
Have you ever had an injury like that where it's torn off the bone?
No, it was a very odd injury for me to watch too because it didn't seem like it was like grappling, wrestling, we get extended a lot, right? Like so when you're going and you're doing your jiu-jitsu and you and I are going and you take you're in half guard, right? Every time I go to get up, I build to my elbow, I get to my underhook, I'll take a single leg. You'll sprawl because you got to take your leg away from me. When I'm up on my elbow and I get to my half guard and I'm on the butt here, I will always go to a single because I'm a wrestler. You will sprawl and then try to go back behind me. My arm gets extended every time. And that's kind of what happened with Jones. It's like he was in an underhook and the guy sprawled a little bit and then his arm came away from his body and it ripped. And it's unfortunate, but...
Do you think that, I know John has been doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yep.
To get up to heavyweight.
That and the extra weight, right?
Yeah.
He's carrying all that extra weight. He's lifting all that weight. And it's like, you got to develop muscle, but it's got to be usable muscle. You can't just be big.
Well, the other thing is if you're not doing anything, like if you're not taking anything, then your recovery from like really heavy power lifts is kind of significant.
Didn't he lift like 600 pounds or something?
Oh my God,
crazy shit?
he's strong as fuck. He's strong as fuck. He looks very big now. Like, he looks like a heavyweight. But I just wonder, how much weightlifting do you have to do to maintain that frame?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he was strong.
He was always
when we
strong.
fought, he was strong. Like, he was strong. Leverage. Great with his leverage. Dude, the way he was able to manipulate positions, because I thought, without a shadow of a doubt, that I would take him down at will. But it's hard. Even if you get a takedown, it's hard against the best guys. I picked Stipe up. I threw him down. Held him down for the whole first round. And then he got up because we got to start again. So now I got to start that process all over again. And that's why Khabib Nurmagomedov was so special. Because it didn't matter how many times he had to restart the process. He went right back to doing that with his opponent, knowing that he was going to throw you to the ground. So when you're fighting guys like Jones, he's so tall, he's so rangy, and he just understood fighting. The guy just understands fighting. And it makes him hard to deal with. And then, Joe, when you get in a clinch with this dude, he's so tall that it's almost like you're holding him up if you're the shorter fighter. He's like draping over the top of you. And that is what fatigues you. Because when I'm clinching, you know, I fought there a ton. Like, just in the clinch, punch, punch, punch. I'm trying to break your posture. He doesn't do that. He pushes you against the octagon, and then he leans. So now you're carrying 220 with your weight up against the octagon, and it's like, and then he's changing level. Then he's spinning, trying to elbow you. The dude just understands fighting and understands how to maneuver his body to fatigue you. It's crazy.
He also is the best at managing distance.
Oh, gosh. It hurts so bad trying to get close to him. I tell you that. Hey, dude, it hurts so bad. Joe, I'm telling you, it hurts so bad. The kicks to the body and the knees. Because you know me, like Kane, me and Kane were forward, 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 head movement, get close, punch, 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 take you down.
Right.
But with him, he was a southpaw, so his lead leg was right there, so I wanted to grab a single leg. But this dude would be stepping back, kneeing me, kneeing me, kneeing me. And then I would be like, okay, so I need to stop going forward. So now I'm at range, and he blasts body kick, and then body kick. So now you're like, shit, I'm not going to stay on the end of these body kicks because they hurt. So then you get close, and he knees you. So it's like you're landing, and I'm hitting him. But he's hitting me with things that may not be as big, like my hand, overhand, right, looks big. But that knee just goes boom, right in the rib every time. Boom, right in the rib. And then every now and again, they catch you right in the middle. That shit hurts bad, man. I don't even know how the hell I was going through all that in that octagon. Because now, it hurts. It hurts, like, it hurts. Alex Pereira kicked my leg. I was like, this shit hurts.
That dude has the weirdest leg kicks. They're so sneaky.
My cousin had the
He's so clever at it.
My cousin had the greatest analogy for Pereira. He goes, he is Thanos. Literally just collecting fucking stones, infinity stones. He's like, he goes, I love Marvel. He goes, it was like when Thanos showed up.
Yeah.
And he's just collecting infinity stones. There's a timeline. You know there's a bad guy. And then there's this ultimate bad guy who was just in some fucking bar in Brazil, and then Izzy had to open his mouth.
Isn't that crazy?
If Izzy just shut the fuck up, he would have stayed where he was. But I mean, it's like a delayed, it's like a delayed reaction on the kick. But if Izzy would have just shut up, this dude would have stayed in Brazil.
That dude is so sneaky with that kick.
And if you get too close, he's gonna punch you.
Yeah. Well, he's so long, and he's also so odd in his striking
His
movements.
He's like this tall.
Yeah.
He's tall.
They're very odd.
And he's like, and if you get close, it's the right hand. Even that thing he does when he's walking out, and he does this will thing, and he throws his combination.
Yeah.
It doesn't look fluid. He's like boom, boom, boom. But you know, like if that dude hits you with that, you're going to sleep.
You go to sleep. Everybody goes to sleep.
Yuri's in there dancing and shit. Yuri's like doing all kind of like weird stuff, right? And Alex is like,
Just stone face.
Stone face. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going
It was
to.
one of the greatest stare downs ever.
I'm going to kill you. Is what he's thinking. Like, this dance your weird ass. I'm going to kill you.
Who's the guy that he scissor kicked? He scissor knee Michaelitis?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I thought you were lying, bro. I thought you were lying. The whole time, Joe, I'm sitting to your right. I'm like, man, Joe Rogan up in here lying to me, telling me this dude, this good. He's this. DC, I'm telling you. Because I'll be honest with you. I had watched him a little bit. I hadn't watched all of his kickboxing. I was like, okay, this dude's supposed to be good. Let me watch a little bit. It's kickboxing. And you come in and you're like, DC, wait until you see this Pereira in real life. And I'm like, okay, he's good, DC. He might be the best kickboxer that we've ever had. Well, Izzy's here. Like Izzy's here. He knocked out Izzy twice, DC. I'm telling you.
Knocked him out once.
Or knocked him out once,
Yeah.
beat him by decision. And I'm like, yeah, that. And then he does that, and I look over and I go, oh my God, you were telling the truth.
Dude, he's something fierce.
I mean, this is Sean Strickland,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
With a left hook. With a left hook.
I mean, the guy who's now the middleweight
Champion of the world.
Yeah, and he took him out easy.
A year.
Yeah.
He was the champ in a year.
Dude, he's got 2 world titles and 11 fights.
In 2 years.
It's insane.
He's been in the UFC. Dude, I don't know, Joe, if we had, and he's here in Austin. So I'm going to go hang out with him later.
Nice.
I'm going to see Pereira. I
That's
like
awesome.
him too.
I love that dude.
He smiles.
Yeah.
He actually smiles. Before he just didn't smile. Now he smiles.
I just don't think he wants to smile after fights or before fights. He
just wanna
stays-
fight.
Stays cold.
He's there for a reason.
Yeah.
To just beat somebody's ass.
Well, he was so extraordinary in kickboxing. When I watched him in kickboxing, it just some dudes just have some extra gear, some extra power. It was shocking. He would hit guys, boom, and they would just like
They just
stiffen up
fall
and
down.
flatline. You're like,
With 10-ounce gloves.
Fuck, man, he's doing it to everybody. Like literally everybody he's connecting on is going night, and he does it in 2 different weight classes simultaneously. So I mean, when that guy was going to fight MMA, I'm like, hold on, baby.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be some wild shit. This
And he
is
was
an
3-1.
extraordinary dude.
And he was 3-1 when he
Yeah.
made his debut in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And you knew that if he was able to win a couple, they would rush him to Izzy. And he got there and he beat him. And I still now, I don't know how Izzy beat that dude, man. Because
caught him perfect.
He caught him
Perfect.
If that fight would have kept going, I don't think Izzy was going to win. He was hurting Izzy bad.
That leg was fucked up already.
It was done.
Yeah, it's crazy how good he is at that.
It takes like 2 or 3.
He doesn't move his hips. The way he does it is so beautiful because there's no telegraphing at all. He's just moving there and slap.
Slap.
And you got 1, 2 in there, 3, and you start seeing the welts. Yuri had a big welt on his leg.
You know what's the worst? It's like you train a certain way. When I first started fighting, I would train southpaw some because it's your fast hand. And I wanted to, and then Kane kicked me in the face, and I blew my nose out. I said, I'm never fighting southpaw again. Because you don't see stuff as well. It's not natural. So I always stayed conventional. Most do that. But then, because you don't train in that off stance, you fight Pereira, next thing you know, he's got your leg beat up. You're switching to southpaw, which is what Yuri did. Yuri's not a southpaw.
Right.
Yuri doesn't fight southpaw. Now you're fighting in a fight stance that's unfamiliar against one of the most dangerous men in the world.
Right.
How are you supposed to fight
And you have a compromised leg.
And you're
not going to be able to move as quickly.
because you're not doing it on your terms.
Yeah.
You're switching on his terms.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And, once those calves get chopped a few times, like, only they know how compromised that leg is.
hurts.
Like, Izzy's leg, in the first fight, he said, was fucked up after the first round.
They're always on crutches and in wheelchairs. When they're done with him, people don't see this, right? When we're leaving the arena, these guys are either getting wheeled to the post-fight press conference or wheeled to the ambulance because their legs are so jacked up.
Yeah.
He tears their legs up. It's bad.
Tears their legs up.
It's bad.
And he's just so efficient with it. And it's just, what a hard style to emulate as a sparring partner, too.
Yeah. Especially since he really still can't wrestle.
Right.
Think about all the success he's had and he still can't wrestle. Some of these takedowns he gets taken down with is like, he still hasn't developed to the point that a real good wrestler wouldn't try to take him down over and over again.
Right.
But you could never get there because he knocks you out.
You know what else is shocking? He never seemed drained at 85.
How is he making that weight, though?
How is he making that weight? And now when he's fighting at 205, he's like it's seemingly more durable.
He looks the same.
Yeah.
He does not. 20 pounds lighter, he looks the same.
He does.
He really does look the same.
That's how big he was when he was fighting.
This guy had to be getting up to 215 whenever he was making 85.
I think it was heavier. They said in one of the fights they said it was 226, I believe.
226 in the octagon at 185.
Find out whether it was after the fight
or
the
goodness.
day of the fight. But yeah, he went. I mean, that was like what he was walking around at.
That's crazy.
That's so big.
It's not fair, man.
It's so crazy. And you know that power that he has. But I think also, I mean, you'd be the best person to ask about this. When you see guys that cut a lot of weight, it seems like it's harder for them to take shots.
Yeah. You know, I told that to Davis and Figueiredo today. I said, remember by the end of the Moreno trilogy or Ford fight? Every time Brandon hit him, it looked like it hurt him. And Davison was never a guy that had chin problems. But he's going up to 135 now this weekend.
Yeah, Rob Font.
Yes, against Rob Font. So it's like, is he going to be more durable? Is he going to be better at taking shots now?
Right.
Because he was, I mean, TJ Dillashaw, when he went to 125, he was a shell of himself.
That was a terrifying weight cut, too. God, he looked like dead man walking.
Yeah.
He looked like someone who was dying.
What do you think, as a fighter, I actually liked the afternoon weigh-in better. I liked the afternoon weigh-in opposed to the morning weigh-in.
Why is that?
More time and sleep. Sleep. The night before, you got to sleep. Because if you woke up at 7, 8 over, you had all day Friday to make the weight. On fight day.
219 on fight day.
Come on, man. What? It's 25 pounds, bro.
That's so big.
That's 25 pounds.
It's really nuts.
But again, that's because they have so much time, though. Because if he weighs in at 11 a.m. on Friday morning, now he's got 24 hours. Now he's in the main event. So this dude is not fighting for probably 35 hours after he steps on the scale. You can gain 25 pounds in 35 hours.
I think that's 35 pounds, right?
That's 35 pounds?
35 pounds. Yeah.
That's 35 pounds
That's
in a
bananas.
day. Think about that.
35 pounds is insane.
I can't
think of 35 steaks.
I actually can't. I can't.
Just
I
think
can't
of
add
35 steaks stacked up. And
That's
then
what he
take
ate.
that out of your body.
That's what he. Yeah. I mean, it would be up to here.
Yeah,
35
35
steaks. Would be up to there.
Insane.
That's 16-ounce steaks.
That's insane.
That's insane.
What do you think? Do you think it's possible to ever come to a point where there's no weight class or there's no weight cutting at all? That there's more weight classes, more options, but people fight at their natural weight.
You see, one of the problems with that is if there are more belts, then it kind of becomes boxing a little bit. And it could be a little watered down because now you got a champion every 10 pounds. So you don't know if you got the best guy as the champ. Right now, you're pretty sure that the UFC champion is the best fighter in the world. Anywhere between 135 to 155, 160. You know those guys that weigh that naturally, the guy in the UFC is the best fighter in the world. 55, between 55 and 85, 90, you have the best fighter. And I'm talking lightweights. They cut from 185, 180. So
to get to 155.
To get to 155. So you know you're getting the best fighter of all men around those weights in that weight class. But if you get a 65, 55, 45, 35, 25, I don't know that it works. I really don't know that it works.
That's interesting. I could see your point, but there's some people that are definitely tweeners, right?
Yes, Aljamain Sterling.
Aljamain Sterling.
He is one of them.
Yeah. But is he, though? Because he was the champion at 35.
But killing himself to get there.
I know, but he still had endurance. And I always felt like, if you're going to have an example of weight cutting, I always felt like Aljamain had the perfect frame for 35.
Yes, he does.
Because he's so big and strong, and he manages to get there, and then he puts it right back on. And then when you see him on fight day, you're like, my God. Like, when you see that dude's abs and all that much, he looks like a 160-pound man.
You know why? You know why, Joe? You know what they've started to do? I think it's the most dangerous thing in the world. But you know what they've started to do? Aljamain Sterling was one of the first to tell me, but he doesn't cut all of his weight. So with us, we would go on Thursday night. If I weighed 216 and I had to be 205 by Friday morning, I would get as low as I possibly could and then try to go to bed. So if I'd get to 207, I would hope that by the morning I'd be 206. I'd only have to lose a pound in the morning. So I'm dehydrated for 12, 13, 14 hours. Those guys today are going to bed at that weight, Joe, 10, 11 over, and waking up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and cutting the weight. Because they said if they cut all that weight, they don't sleep, which I can attest to. It don't matter how much melatonin you take. It doesn't matter what you do. You're going to wake up because you're so hungry. You're so dehydrated. You're not going to get a good night's sleep. They're going to bed heavier, getting up in the morning, sucking all that weight off, and they're dehydrated for only like 4 hours. I think it's dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you have to cut 10 pounds in 4 hours. If you don't, you're screwed.
Oh, you think it's dangerous career-wise?
I think it's dangerous because you could not make the weight.
Right. Okay.
Because you're not giving yourself any room for if anything goes sideways.
Right.
Because the worst possible feeling is when you go through your entire routine and you expect to lose 8, but you might lose 6 or 5.5. And then you're like, now I got to work out.
What's the cause of that? Like, what's the variabilities?
I don't know.
Did you ever work with a doctor to like?
No, I just
with weight cutting.
So what I would do is I wrestled right my whole life. So what I would do is I would do these test cuts because I was very afraid because at the Olympics my kidneys shut down, so I didn't get to wrestle my second Olympic Games. So I was scared. So I would 2 weeks before the fight or 3 weeks before the fight when I first started to go to 205, I would go on a Saturday and I would just cut some weight. I'd get to 210, 211. I'd lose 9 pounds. Okay, I know if I do this for an hour, I'll lose 9 pounds. The next weekend, do it again, lose 9 pounds. I know, so then it became a thing where I knew in the right circumstances, with the right temperature in the room, I could lose 9 pounds. As long as it wasn't 65 degrees, I was fine. Anything over 70, as most gyms are, I was getting 9 off. So I had this routine. I would get up, get my body water loaded. I would go into the sauna with just my stuff, put all my sweet sweat on, get sweating after like 5 minutes, sweat till 10, then start putting all my clothes on in the sauna. So I would have my socks, my shoes, my sweats, my t-shirt, my hat, my plastics. I would put them all on in the same way every time. Plastic pants, sweatpants, socks, shoes, long sleeve t-shirt under the plastics because I didn't like it against my body, plastic top, sweat top, hat, gloves, and everything just tucked in. And then I would go right out of there because that would take me to like 15 minutes in the sauna. I would walk straight to the treadmill, Joe. Then I'm on the treadmill. I run a mile, but only at 5 because now my heart's doing this because it's hot from the sauna. It's like, then I'm trapping all this heat in. I'd get on, I'd run for a mile, 12 minutes. Now I'm at 27 minutes. Then I walk. I walk for 20 minutes on 2. If my heart rate slowed, I would put a little bit in incline, go to 3. Walk for 20 minutes. Now I'm at 47 minutes. I get off of the treadmill, go straight to the ground where they wrap me for 13 minutes. And in those 13 minutes, I'm hurting, Joe. I'm hurting. I'm laying there. I mean, people are like rubbing me. They're like talking to me, trying to comfort me. But every time I took all that shit off, pool of water, 9.5, 10 pounds. And I could tell based on my sweats. So I'd wear gray sweats, these gray Oklahoma State sweats. And if it came up to my calf, mid-calf, I knew I got the weight that I wanted. I don't know how. I don't know how that sweat would come up outside the sweats. But if it came up to my sweats on my leg and then up to my mid-forearm on my arms, I knew I'd lose the weight that I needed to lose.
Wow.
So the whole time I was like, and yeah, it just kind of starts right here, and then as you're working, it just keeps creeping up your body.
And then once you made it, what was the rehydration process like?
Well, the best was before USADA when you could take IV.
Right.
That was the best.
Why was that better?
Joe, it beats your stomach. Like, the problem with rehydrating is it would mess with your stomach. Everything you drank would make your stomach hurt. Everything you ate would make your stomach hurt. So even if you made weight at 4, you're not really eating a good meal till 6 because you got to get through like the cramps, you got to get through the diarrhea, you got to get through all this stuff that you did. So the IV was the best because while you're doing the IV, it's going directly into the blood. All that fluid is going right. It's passing this. It's just going into your body. So while you're doing that, you start to feel better. And I mean, the IV bag, Joe, was like, it was like a straight line. It wasn't the drip. You know how it looks like it drips?
Right.
My body would just suck that water out of that bag. My body was like sucking that water out of that bag. It was a straight line down.
How many bags would you take?
2.
Wow.
16 pounds of IV.
Wow.
And then they took it away from me. So then we had to start doing it another way.
And the reason why is because you could use it to mask performance-enhancing drugs?
Yes,
is that it?
that's what they say. That's what they say.
Why don't they allow it from places that have... Maybe there's a way to do a test before you do an IV.
Yeah.
You know? But because like it seems stupid to cut
to stop
off
the IV. The IV works.
Yeah, why don't you... What if they had like a thing where you had to say, hey, I'm planning on taking an IV... Will you guys come and test me before I take the IV?
Yep.
Then
They
come
could
and
do
test
that.
them. That should be easy.
That should be easy.
And then you could get your IV.
Well, they're getting tested anyways.
Yeah,
They're getting
exactly.
tested constantly. So
And this new organization, what is it? Drug-Free Sport? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I actually don't even know which one it is.
There's a new organization, but Dana White speaks very highly of them. So
Yeah.
I just wish they would allow guys to use things like BPC 157.
The peptides, like
Yeah,
that. One of my buddies is really big on peptides. He said it's helping him. He said it's helping him a lot. I've never tried them, but
it can help you heal. And when guys are constantly injured. They're constantly dealing with pulled this and yanked that.
if it could help my back, I need something to help my back is just messed up, man. The whole
After the surgeries?
the life in wrestling, the surgery after the Derek Lewis fight. You told me, you said, dude, you got to do this, and I never got. I went and got a regular back surgery, and I shouldn't have did. I should have went and did something a little different.
Yeah.
Back surgery screws you. You're done if your back goes out. In
Yeah.
fighting, it's over. Can't train the same.
No, there's been a few guys that have had discs replaced.
Yeah, that's what I did. My back was. And
Did
now,
you get it replaced?
No.
With a fake one, or did they
No.
fuse it?
Just to fuse it. Yeah. My back is just jacked, though, bro. Like it's so bad. Some days I wake up, I'm like, this is crazy.
You ever see Diamond Dallas Page?
Yeah.
You see his yoga program?
I
that
heard
he
it's really
developed?
good.
It's really good. And
You've
he
tried it?
I've done a lot of his exercises.
Wow.
And he's developed it specifically for guys that are like coming off of pro wrestling and their bodies all beat up.
Yeah.
And he's taken a lot of these guys and brought them back to health.
Jake the Snake Roberts. I saw Jake the Snake Roberts right as he was starting. He looked bad. And now I see him, I'm like, this dude is rejuvenated. He's a new man.
Yeah, he's a new man. And you know, when Dallas came up with it, his back was fucked up.
Yeah.
His back is like pretty bone on bone, but because it's so strong and he does so much yoga, like he has
Really?
incredible flexibility. Man.
Wow.
He can just grab his foot and like do like a standing
Really?
split. Yeah, man. He did it in front of us at the gym.
Really?
He didn't even warm up. Dude's in his 60s.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
DDP. I used to like him, too.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But maybe something like that. Have you ever thought about doing that?
I need to do some yoga or
Yeah,
something.
there's him right here.
Yeah, look
this.
at him.
That's crazy.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
Because of the diamond
Bro.
cutter. Look at that. Dude, that's got to suck, right? Like your whole life just falling on the ground,
Oh my God, that's terrible.
just dropping yourself backwards. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Flipping through the air.
He teaches classes. Look at this. He's teaching NFL players.
NFL players doing DDP yoga. He would have never thought that would work out like that.
No. How could you? How could you ever imagine that?
You can't.
No.
Pure luck.
Aljamain's story about getting his disc replaced and come back and then defending the title against Piotr Jan.
The
pretty
neck?
wild. That's pretty wild.
That was a bad hit. That's a bad. Anytime you start doing stuff with the neck.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Jackson was an Olympic gold medalist, and when his neck went, he couldn't beat the best young guys because it's too damaging, right? You're getting punched and you're getting your head pulled down. Everything you do, you got to have strength in your neck.
Yeah.
He never could do it. But for Aljo to not only come back from the surgery, but beat the guy he was dog walking Aljo. That first fight, he was kicking his ass. And he came back against that same guy and beat him. And did it in a way that, for as much as people say, because people just don't like Aljamain, right? Because he fell and the way that the fight ended, he won that second fight. He dominated in the second round, and he won 3 rounds of that fight. It's that simple. But he's an impressive athlete, but he's not a dude that he doesn't really get people to really come to support him. It's very weird. It's
I
a
think
hard one.
it's because of the way he won the title by disqualification. People hate that.
They said he fell down and
He got fouled.
it was a bad one too.
It was a bad one. It was a knee to the face on the ground. It's a foul.
It was a foul.
Clear foul.
But is he supposed to get up? Like, that's the thing, right?
It
Like,
depends if he's concussed. If he's concussed, he shouldn't get up.
Anthony Smith.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith.
Yeah, he could have been the
Right?
champ.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you get up or do you kind of go, man, this shit's going sideways right now because he was down 4 rounds to 0.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith was sitting there, and I don't know him. I know him, but I don't know what was in his mind. But there had to be a moment in there. Right? Where Anthony went. Diego Sanchez did it. Remember, Diego did it Diego did it in Phoenix. He was losing to one of those Brazilian guys, and he got fouled. Diego's on the ground like 29-28. He's winning. Yep, I'm out. Diego's like, I'm out. Take my dub. I'm good. Anthony Smith, and if he stays down, right, Joe, he wins the belt. He fights Jones again. Now he's on the pay-per-view portion of it, gets paid more money. Even if he loses that belt, he got paid pay-per-view as the champ. Otherwise, you get told you're a beast for standing up, right? But then you lose. The UFC moved on. John Jones just fought somebody else. He could have guaranteed himself another fight. It might seem coward, but what's the right way? What's the right way to do that? Because Aljamain did what he did. If Aljo just gets up and continues, he wouldn't have got a rematch. He wouldn't have defended that belt 3 times. He wouldn't have fought O'Malley as the champ. He wouldn't have fought Cejudo. He wouldn't have fought Petr Yan, and he wouldn't have fought TJ Dillashaw. He would have got none of that if he got up. So while he might have gotten people to dislike him, he still lived as the champion, made a boatload of money, and he will always be remembered now as one of the better bantamweight champs in the world.
And it's hard to compare fouls, right? Because you don't really know, like, how did only Anthony Smith knows how he felt.
Yep.
And only Aljamain knows how he felt.
Yes.
You can't it's hard because, like every punch or every knee, they don't have the same impact on a person.
No.
The one that hit Aljo looked
nasty.
like devastating.
And
That
we're
was
in the Apex.
devastating. Yeah.
We're in the Apex, too quiet.
See if you can find that.
We were in the Apex. It was real quiet.
Both ready.
Yeah, play this.
Look at him just pressing on the head here, though. Yeah, that was mean.
Bro, that was so bad. That was so bad.
His knee was all
That's
the way
so
down.
bad. And to the temple.
Before that, he said down.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Oh, my
That's
God.
nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe. It is as illegal.
No-brainer, Joe.
It's a no-brainer in terms of
Aljamain's going to be upset, but he's going to get
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's nasty.
That's a bad one.
It's a bad knee.
You can't expect a guy that probably got concussed.
Look at Anthony Smith. Look at that.
Let me see Anthony's.
He's got one hand down. Yeah, it's still a system.
That's just a hand, but I mean,
He's got
So yeah, it's only
Look.
this video.
Now,
Switch
today,
knee.
It's still a system.
under the new rules, wouldn't that be up?
No. Any weight bearing is down.
Weight bearing is down,
Weight
but
bearing is down.
touching is not enough.
Touching is not enough. Playing the game is not enough, right? Like down, up, down, up,
Right.
down, up. But weight bearing is down.
And that was definitely weight bearing.
That's weight bearing.
Yeah.
And watch, go back, and I want you to pause. Not yet. Keep going. Keep going. And
This isn't
keep
the
going.
best
Keep
video.
going. When it gets to Anthony's face and pause. That's when Anthony was like, you know what, man? If I just sit here and I don't do this no more, there's a possibility for me to get all this money and come back as the champ. And then his pride got in the way. And he got up there and he finished the fight. He was down 3 rounds to 1 at that time.
Right.
And he fought. And I thought it was a mistake because he took a legal knee. But whatever. It is what it is. But I think when you look at these, and he got, Jones got deducted a point and still won the fight comfortably. That's how much he was ahead.
Yeah.
So
2 points.
he got a 2-point deduction
Boom.
and still won. Yeah. Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, there's certain deductions, like when you, like, who knows what kind of an impact that had. I mean,
Yeah.
Did he have a concussion? Is he too tough for his own good? If you get a concussion from an illegal shot, what are you supposed to do? Because now you're really vulnerable.
That's the thing.
You can get hit and you can get KO'd easier.
What's the right answer?
You're already loopy.
You know what's crazy is, like, I say this, but I never was on the receiving end of a bad foul. I probably would have just kept fighting. I mean, Stipe poked me in the third fight, and I just kept fighting, right? It's like, I probably would have kept fighting. I probably would have did the same thing, which is crazy, because it's what fighters do. It's what they do.
It's got to clearly depend on how bad the shot is, though. Because if you get fouled and knocked unconscious, and then you come back,
you're just going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
If you get knocked out, that's why boxing, right? People always kind of scoff at me when I say boxing is more dangerous than MMA. Oh, how could you say that when they're only boxing and they're using their hands and they jump on you and they hit you on the ground when you fall? I said, I will argue with you that that's safer than you knocking me out. Bang. My body, which has been trained my whole life to get up, gets up, they count to 8 or 9, and they say, go back and fight more. When I'm still concussed, you have hit me so hard that you have knocked me down to the ground, right? I get up, and then you continue to punch me in the head until, one, I either fall down again and go to sleep completely, or we get to the end of the round where you come back and you punch me in the head again. In MMA, when you get knocked down or kicked in the head or whatever the case may be, the guy jumps on you, boom, boom, fight's over. Fight's over. I don't have that recovery time to where I think my brain is okay. I go fight more, and then I get destroyed more. I think boxing is a much more brutal sport, and I love boxing, than mixed martial arts because of that. Because of that 10-second count to kind of clear the cobwebs, or at least think you're clearing the cobwebs, and then go out there and fight again. Think about it. How fast, in that 10 seconds, in most MMA fights, when someone gets hurt to the point that they fall, that fight's over. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, the guy jumps on him. If me and Stipe Miocic were fighting, right, I knock him down, and then I hit him with the 2 follow-up shots to end the fight. I would like to see how long that sequence took. Because if Stipe Miocic and I were fighting, and I did that to him in boxing, for as bad as he was, he would get up, and I would get to hit him again. Just like my knockdown on Stipe was no worse than when Deontay Wilder dropped Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury looked like a dead man walking. But because he's so tough, he sat himself up, got up, and continued to fight.
That was one of the craziest recoveries ever.
How?
How? 12th round. You look like you're out cold.
He was
and then
done.
He outboxed him for the rest of the round.
How? But again, in MMA, fight probably would have been over, and he would have took less damage.
Right, but isn't that a better argument for letting him get up? Because Tyson Fury got up and then figured out how to beat Deontay Wilder in the second fight.
But figured it out and was able to beat him as they went on. But in that fight on that night, all it would have taken was for Wilder to land one more. But in boxing, again, you get to hold, you get to pull in tight. There's a few seconds. But very rarely do we see it happen like it happened for Tyson Fury.
Right.
We see it on the other side of the spectrum when they get up and they get flatlined.
Yeah,
that
does happen.
Because they're so good. The boxers are so good at finding that shot. MMA guys, we hurt you, we go running, we start throwing wide punches, loopy. Them boxing dudes are like, bink, bink, and they go find your chin, and then you're like, just out cold. I'm telling you, man. I'm smart. I'm fucking smart. I'm telling you. I should be the commission, bro.
We haven't talked that much about Francis.
And
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Because how shocking was that?
That was crazy, dog. It was the craziest thing. And guess what else? You know why?
Why?
Because Deontay Wilder almost killed him. He got up and he took more damage, and his brain might be... Tyson Fury has been hit by some of the most dangerous dudes in the world.
Yes.
And now you're getting hit by Francis, who might hit harder than any of them.
He might hit harder than all of them.
Dude, Francis Ngannou knocked Tyson Fury down.
And
he's an amateur, bro.
This is his first ever professional fight. That's what's so crazy.
That, you know what was so beautiful about that? He actually countered him perfect.
Yeah.
He had his right hand up, and he hit him with the little check left hook. It was one of the most, I mean, shocking is an understatement. But Francis, look at that. His technique was beautiful. And that's Francis's offhand.
Yeah.
That's not even his right hand.
Crazy.
What does that say about boxing, though, Joe? I mean, that the lineal heavyweight champion of the world and the
lineal UFC heavyweight champion.
Yes, but the lineal heavyweight champion in boxing, in just a boxing match, Francis was able to compete with him as an amateur. 0-0. 0-0. He's an amateur. What does that say about boxing?
I think it says more about Francis. I think Francis is just a special dude.
You don't think nobody else could do that?
I don't imagine it.
No, I don't think so
I don't
either.
imagine it. I think Francis is just a special dude.
Well, we did see Conor fight Floyd.
That's true.
Right? We
That's
did see
true.
Conor. I mean, could Sean O'Malley fight Devin Haney?
Yes.
Right? Like he said he could. Right?
Could
So it's
happen.
like these
Something
guys,
like that can happen.
yeah.
100%.
But that was surprising.
That was surprising.
I thought Tyson was going to beat him up a little bit. I really did believe Tyson Fury was going to beat him up.
I could see Sean Strickland in a high-level boxing match.
Sean Strickland's pretty good. Did you
pretty
see Sean
fucking
Strickland
good.
with that gun the other
How
day?
crazy is he?
Dude.
We were saying that karma brought that dude to Sean Strickland.
I mean,
'Cause that
Sean
dude had
Strick-
apparently beat up a woman and then drove drunk, crashed his car, abandoned his car, and was hiding in Sean Strickland's driveway.
Of all the driveways to get stuck in,
It's perfect.
you end up Sean Strickland's driveway. And then Sean's like pushing him down. Sean like,
This poor bastard.
look at this guy. He's trying not, and he's texting.
Yeah, he's hiding in text. I think he's calling an Uber.
Oh my gosh. Sean walks out there.
Organs in his rib.
I wonder what the guy was like. I wonder what he was thinking. Like, who is this guy with
He
the gun?
shredded the fucking wheel of his car.
He was beating up a woman and ended up in Sean's driveway. That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Or the wrestling dude. Remember the wrestling dude that was on crack and tried to break into Anthony Smith's house?
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Smith just beat the shit out of him. So crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, some people make some unfortunate decisions.
They just make mistakes.
We were watching a video the other day of a guy who tried to break into a gun store.
Why would you break into a gun store? That's just idiotic.
He's trying to rob a gun store. He's got 2 pistols. He moves into the gun store like this, and they just gun him down. Like
They killed him.
instantly. Instantly.
He's an idiot. Why would you rob a gun store? It's drugs, though. It has to be drugs. You got to be on some sort of drug or, like, not, like, in your right mind.
They wanted more guns, and they thought this is the way to get guns. Go rob the gun store.
Yeah, that's absurd. You
I
want more
don't think
guns?
they're thinking well.
No, they're not.
They're probably on drugs themselves.
They got
This is it. Watch this. These guys come in. They hold guns out.
that
Look.
makes no sense.
Boom.
Oh, he's done. That was fast.
Yeah.
He's done. Oh, look at this dude.
Yeah, that dude's trained.
That is crazy.
That dude's trained.
He walked in.
Yeah.
He walked in with a gun to try to rob a gun store.
Yeah, this is crazy. So the guys walk in. He hears it. Draws. Boom.
Yeah, the guy behind the counter here, the old man with the gray hair, he immediately reached for his piece, and he hit him hard. He hit him right where he had to hit him. Look at the guy just fall backwards. He didn't shoot him in the leg. He didn't shoot him. Yeah, that's bad, man.
Some people out there making some stupid decisions.
I mean, why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
I saw a video today on Twitter because I was in this fighter meeting, and I don't know, they were just kind of having a conversation, like they were done talking about the fight. So I kind of got on my phone, I started playing on Twitter, and I was watching another website I watch. It's called Morbid Knowledge. Oh, dude.
What is this one?
Bro, Morbid Knowledge. It's crazy, bro. I'm fucked up, Joe. Like, I get bored, and it just popped up on my Twitter, and there were 2 airplanes. These people were, like, jumping out of the plane. The planes crashed. You can hear somebody go, "Oh no!" and then they fall off the
Wing?
wing, but they're all wearing parachutes because they were going to go and jump. But I mean, these two planes came together, and then hearing a person go, oh no, was crazy. But morbid knowledge is nuts. It's like, it says like, it'll show like an x-ray of a person that might have gotten into a bad accident or something. It showed a picture one time, Joe, of a person whose body, they x-rayed the body when they had been hit by a train. Oh. Dude, it was crazy. The rib cage and everything, Joe, it was crazy. I don't know where it popped up on my thing, but once I saw it, I was like, oh my, dude, they had a guy back in like the 30s. Bro, he was a big cat hunter. That was a bad son of a gun. And he was hunting with those old school guns. You know those old school guns where, dude, this dude, they had like a fucking lion or a cheetah was just killing people in this village in Africa or in England. I mean, it was killing. It was a man-eater. It's called the man-eater of something. So this guy would hunt. They brought this old dude from Europe down there to track this animal. This dude tracked this animal between 3 different like cities in this area and finally got that son of a gun because he shot it and it was trying to attack him to kill him. He was running out of bullets. It sounded like a movie, but it had his whole story. Morbid knowledge, I'm telling you. Whoa. Go listen to it. Like, look at it. Some of it's kind of gross, but some of it's like pretty intriguing. Like,
isn't that one what that movie was based on, The Ghost in the Darkness?
Oh my God, did you see that?
That's a great movie.
What a crazy movie.
That's a great movie, man. There's nothing scarier than lions hunting people.
Oh my God.
Just a lion waiting
I can't,
for them.
I watch them even if they're a little bit like corny because I'm like, oh, this is crazy. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
That's the exact movie. It's based on it.
Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas, right? Yeah.
It's based on that guy's story.
Yeah.
But dude, like you watch like these, like there's some of these sites like that other one that I said, Nature's Metal. It'll show an eagle just floating, and it'll just fucking swoop down and grab some shit. And it don't matter what it is. If that eagle decides that it wants to eat that thing, it's gonna take it. Dog, pig, squirrel, and it just rips it apart. Eagles are like so sick.
Yeah.
In terms of an animal, they fly above you. They decide what they're gonna take. And they just take it.
Yeah, they pull salmon out of the river.
They pull salmon out of the river. How do they see it?
With them.
They see the reflection.
Catch the little bodies, the talons.
And they just pull them up.
Yeah.
And they just rip you apart.
It's a weird animal to have as our national animal.
It's
because it's a ruthless raptor.
It's a ruthless. It's a killer.
It's a killer.
But it looks majestic.
Oh, it does.
Oh, it looks so good. I'm like, dude. But it fucks you up.
Have you ever seen harpy eagles?
No, what is that?
Harpy eagles live in South America, and they eat sloths and monkeys.
Really?
They're fucking giant.
They're big?
They're huge. See if you can find them.
What is it called?
I think it's called a harpy eagle.
Harpy eagle.
Am I saying it wrong? It is, right?
Jeez.
It's this giant white-looking eagle that there's all these videos of them swooping down and snatching these sloths. Because these poor sloths, they can't fucking look at this.
Oh, look at this thing.
Look at his face. He's got crazy feathers on his head.
Look at those talons.
Yeah. See if there's any. Yeah, that's what they look like.
God, that thing's huge.
See if there's any footage of them snatching somebody. That's all this video is. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Because that's all.
Look at this sloth.
They swoop in and snatch sloths.
Oh my God.
What a fucking mismatch.
It's called Death from Above.
I was trying to find a video. I saw a video on Twitter of an eagle carrying a squirrel, and it drops it, and it swoops down and catches it before it
in the
falls
air
very
before
far.
it fell.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was sick. I'm trying to find it right now.
Dude, I'm telling you, I watch stuff like that because I mean, you know, when you're just sitting around and you know, when you finally get a moment, right, and you grab your phone, some weird shit pops up there, and then you're just stuck.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you've passed 30 minutes watching just crazy ass videos.
Watching eagle videos.
Eagle videos, lions, like
have you ever
tigers.
seen the videos of the eagles taking the sheep and throwing them off the cliffs?
No.
Yeah.
Throw them off the cliff to kill them and then go eat them.
Yeah. They take
Please
goats.
show me that.
They take goats. They take sheep.
They can pick up a goat.
Yeah, they just pick you up enough to throw you over the edge.
Oh my goodness! Please show me that. I want to see that bad.
It's ruthless.
Look, oh, there they go right there.
They do ruthless shit, man.
I mean,
they grab them and throw them off the cliff. I mean, how much thinking does that involve?
That's one of the things that I was about animals, right? They're
See,
so
they get them. Look at this.
Oh
they get them,
my
they just
gosh!
Drag them down and then
He's
just
carrying
drop
this
them.
one.
Oh, wow.
God, that's so strong.
That's insane.
That's so strong.
That's insane.
They're running. These goats are running because they know, like, hey, death is coming from above.
He flew with that baby goat.
Can you believe that? How heavy is that?
That eagle probably only weighs like 10 pounds.
No, I know.
How much do they weigh? I don't think they weigh much, man. Look at this. Just jacks this goat. Like, come here, bitch. Look how much bigger the goat is than him.
Oh, that goat's
And he's just
dumb.
dragging him down the hill.
Wait, look at the other one's trying to help.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
Oh, yeah, but
Look at the ride he's on. He won't let go. He's like surfing.
But even that, right? Like when I see these animals on the side of the hill, I know you hunt. Oh, he's done. He done crashed him into the.
Also, how's that eagle not fucked up? The eagle doesn't even have a broken wing. Like, look, he's still on him. He's like, fuck you, I ain't letting go.
Jeez.
He's like, I'm gonna get you, bitch. I mean, this is like the wildest bull riding ever.
This is crazy. I mean, but that whatever that is under him is going crazy, flip and turn in.
Look at that. He's just bouncing off the rocks, and he won't let go.
I think the goat wins this one.
No way.
Look.
He got away from
That
him.
eagle's jacked.
That eagle's dead.
That eagle's fucked.
That eagle's dead.
Is that the end of it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that eagle's dead.
Wow.
Yeah, he took on the wrong challenge
He
there.
fucked up. I bet he's done it before, though.
He's done it before.
It's not like the first
You don't
time
make
he grabbed a
that
goat.
type of mistake unless you've done it before and it's worked.
Yeah, that looked like a lot of broken bones.
A lot of broken bones for that eagle. Hey. Oh man,
We're so lucky we don't live in that world.
in that world.
This eagle almost takes a little girl.
Oh, I've seen that
Oh my
before.
goodness, no!
Yeah, that's crazy.
It tried to take the kid.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Someone comes to help. I mean, it looks like it was his eagle because he's got the falconer stuff
Yeah, he
on.
dressed like that. The eagle tried to take the kid.
Oh my God. Imagine that kid's fucking horror.
Where is this though?
Oh, the kid's bleeding.
There's a Kyrgyzstan.
Jeez.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah, you see,
Kyrgyzstan.
that's the problem.
Get your
Like,
shit together, Kyrgyzstan.
that's the problem.
Those tough
That's
people over
yeah,
there,
that's
man.
some tough people, man.
How crazy has it been watching all these dudes from Dagestan
Oh, my
just
God.
invade MMA
I knew it.
and dominate?
I knew it because in wrestling they've been around. So I was like, when I was about to start fighting and when I started fighting, I said, man, when these Russian dudes from these regions start to come, it's gonna be a problem because you know how good they were as wrestlers, right? What's gonna happen when these guys come into fighting?
Right, learn striking.
And it's the same thing. You know, we were talking in the back about Alexander Karelin. I looked at that picture and I go, hey, that was a bad dude. Just a monster.
Monster.
A monster.
Monster.
And there have been a many of them. Bolvasar Satiev. All these great Russian athletes that are just crazy. There was one guy that beat me in the Olympic semifinals. His name was Hajimurat Gutsalov. We're lucky that son of a bitch didn't fight because he would have beat everybody. And John Jones included. Every one of them would have got their ass whipped by that dude.
Really?
He was good, bro. He wrestled me at the Olympic Games, and he beat all of us, though. He beat me. He beat Kel Sanderson. He beat Kyle Snyder. He beat all the best Americans for a long time. He wrestled from my Olympic cycle all the way to Kyle Snyder, who won the 2020 Olympic Games. That guy beat him. This dude was so fast. He was so good. I brought him in to train with me for John Jones. My strength coach told me he would try to break him. He said, Daniel, I would try to break this guy. He goes, I would give him all of my workouts. He goes, and then I would add just to try to see how far he would go. He said, no matter what I did, he never stopped. He never got tired. And he goes, he always wanted to do more. He never questioned anything. And that dude, that's why the dude's like a 6-time world champion, Olympic champion, everything. He was the best, man. And we're just lucky he didn't fight because all of us would have no accomplishments. He was that
video
good.
of this dude?
His name is Gutsalov, Gatsalov. He was good, man. He was so fast. He was so strong. His motion, his movement. These dudes were, I knew that if guys like that started fighting, they would be a problem. And that's exactly what they've become. I mean, look at him. This is the guy right here. It's him. We were training. This dude just hit me with all kinds of stuff. I actually, and we're sweating too. He just never stopped, bro. The guy was just tremendous in everything he did. So I would have to set my mind every day going into the room like I was about to wrestle in the Olympic Games because I knew how hard it would be to try to go with this cat. Then he would be beating on these dudes in MMA. He'd take against the wall like it was impossible to take him down. And but look at this though, Joe. Everybody would just watch. Dude taking me down. They got the UFC cameras. I'm like, yo, cut that. Wow. I'm like, cut it.
This is some wild scrambles. Yeah. Oh, you got him?
I got one, but that's probably the only one I got for a month. And then at times I thought he might be letting me. I'm like, yo, are you letting me score, man? Because I wrestled you in competition and I ain't never scored. But I mean, he was just too good, Joe. I mean, he beat me in Olympic semifinals. He beat everybody.
Did you ever talk to him about his interest in MMA?
I asked him. He was like, I want to wrestle. And now he's the head of the Russian Wrestling Federation. He's the coach now. So I said, dude, sometimes I'm embarrassed to say some of the shit I do, but my kids on my wrestling team, this team now has all my youth club kids. They all wrestled for me in middle school. When they were 7th and 8th grade, they were doing their homeschool year. So reclassifying is a big thing in sports now, where if you and I are supposed to graduate in 1998, we will reclassify to graduate in 99. Bro, I took those kids when they were in 7th and 8th grade, and I sent them to Dagestan for a month.
Whoa.
They took all of their schoolwork, and they went to Dagestan in Moscow for a month.
Wow.
Like 8 or 9 kids with 2 parents.
Wow.
I sent them to Russia, bro.
That's crazy.
The fact that their parents actually listen to me is crazy because they're like, yo, you're out of your mind. We're not sending our 13-year-old kids to Russia. They sent them, bro. Wow. We put them in some big jackets, and I said, hey, I know if we want to be the best, they got to be by these guys. And so we sent them. And Khabib had them in his gym every day.
Wow.
He bought, and Khabib is a great guy, right? He bought hotels for him. He'd feed him. He said, just get him here. And, dude, they trained for a month. They told me, they said, Coach, we practice with you. He goes, in Dagestan, it's training. Because it's in the morning, it's in the midday, and it's in the evening. You're training all day. Long practices. He said that these kids told me, Joe, that they do about 30 minutes of gymnastics before they start practice. Gymnastics. For the flexibility and body discipline and body control and everything. So they're flipping and doing all kinds of stuff before they ever got to wrestling.
Wow.
They're operating at a different level, man. That's why you see Makhachev like being who he is. Makhachev is crazy.
Bro, the way he adjusted to Volkanovski in the second fight was pretty special.
Yeah.
Like the use of that left leg to
left
the body,
kick, left kick,
and then
left
the high kick. The way he set that up, man, all the possible endings to that fight that you could have seen.
Never thought that.
Never thought, like, high kick KO. Crazy.
And we thought when we saw Khabib, right, that was the complete version of a Russian fighter. Mm-hmm. Then you see Islam, and he possesses all those same skills with the striking.
With the striking.
So what about the next one? What about the next one? Because there's going to be another one.
Yeah.
What about the next guy?
Right.
Right? It's like they're just getting better and better.
And now that they know that these guys from that region are, like, if you're a kid and you're growing up in that region, now you know, oh, I can follow that same path.
I can do MMA, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to just be wrestling or they do Sambo.
Yeah.
Which is as perfect a base for mixed martial arts as you can find.
Yeah.
Because they're punching and kicking each other and stuff already and grappling and doing everything. So
it's a very good base. It's a little weird that they're wearing the jacket.
They're wearing the gi. Yeah, they're wearing the gi top, shorts. But it's like
shoes.
At least they're
some of them.
You and I agree. Wrestling is the foundation.
Yes.
Because of the training and everything else. But in terms of what closest with the kind of striking, or at least the playing of the striking in Sambo, that's as good in terms of preparing you for mixed martial arts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's awesome. I got that little rant you go on about wrestling. That plays daily in my school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They love that.
Oh,
the
that's
kids love
awesome.
that because that's the truth.
It's the truth. If you want to build a strong foundation, even just as a human being, wrestling is where you figure out how tough you are, how much you can push, how much you can deal with discomfort. No one trains harder than wrestlers.
I think everybody should wrestle, and I think everybody should have some sort of fight in their life. One, some sort of fight. It could be in a gym, a sparring match. I'm talking a fight. It could be sparring. I think every human being, if they do themselves justice, has some sort of interaction against another human being where it's a bit of a fight. You have to. I think once you do that, you can do anything because then you're not afraid. You cannot be afraid, man. That's like my biggest thing to my kids is like you cannot be afraid because people smell that shit on you. If you're afraid, people smell that shit on you and they treat you a certain way. You cannot be afraid. I think everybody should have at least one sort of fight, whether it's sparring, whether it's an exhibition fight, whether it's a high-intensity jiu-jitsu match, whether it's a high-intensity wrestling match. I think you should have some sort of competition in your life that pits you against another individual. I think we all need it.
Imagine if we had that as like mandatory service in the country.
Yeah. Could you imagine? We'd be stronger as a country.
But imagine if, like, you know how Xi Jinping is trying to make Russia more, or excuse me, China more manly.
What's he doing?
That?
No, I haven't.
I don't know. They're trying to promote more manliness. In China. If someone tried to do that in America, and they said, well, the way we're going to implement this is we're going to have mandatory combat sports participation
at some
for
point
all
in your
males.
Life. At some point in your life, you do that.
Could you imagine if they did that?
And hey, I'm telling you, we'd be better for it.
I think we would.
We would be better for it.
I think we would.
Because then, let's see this.
2 years ago, the country's censors began to blur earrings and colored hair on male celebrities. Oh, earrings, sorry. Earrings and colored hair on male celebrities appearing on television. Earlier this year, the Education Ministry announced a plan to cultivate masculinity in schoolboys, including hiring more gym teachers and promoting sports.
But it says after America, right? So America must be trying to, it's China's turn to worry about masculinity. So they're saying that our country is, right?
Click on that. What is that saying? That seems like a strange thing to say.
After America, right?
If you follow the disastrous denouement of America's 2-decade occupation in Afghanistan, is that the word? Did I say that word right?
No idea what that is.
I don't know what that word is. Have you wondered why the world's only superpower has an affliction for distant wars? Why is it? What is it that compels it to drag its military halfway across the world? What is the origin of its interventionist instincts? What is he saying here? Reading a lot into this.
But it's saying that, look, in his scheme of things.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
It's about Roosevelt. In Roosevelt's scheme of things, imperialism was a necessary manly duty that American men needed to take up or risk letting the reins of global power be seized by a more manful race. Sickly and asthmatic in his childhood, Roosevelt had continued to endure attacks on his manliness into his youth as he started out in politics, with newspapers lampooning his high-pitched voice and dandy clothes. Oh, yeah, dandy clothes. For the exquisite Mr. Roosevelt, forceful public exhortations to wage foreign wars was an exercise in radical image makeover. Oh, interesting. So they were saying they were picking on his manliness, so he decided to go wage wars.
Yes.
They bullied him.
They bullied him, right? But hey, you know what stops bullying? You know what stops bullying? You knowing how to defend yourself, right? And that's why, I mean, the Chinese, they said they're not showing colored hair or earrings anymore. But if we are all forced to wrestle or do jiu-jitsu or do boxing, at least early in our lives, you develop that foundation for strength. You develop that foundation for standing up for yourself. You develop the foundation for not just accepting things that shouldn't happen. It really is. I think everybody should have it, man. I think it's so good for you to have that experience where you stare across from another human being and you know that it will be on you with no weapons to go out and win. Whether it's pinning them, whether it's submitting them, whether in a boxing, it's like outpointing them in a boxing fight. I think that we should all have some sort of competition with another human being.
I think it was real good for me.
Yeah.
I think it's real good for a lot of people. I don't want to say that everybody should do it, but
think about it.
Most
Dojo.
people should. Do
Where
it.
would it hurt? Where would it hurt? Tell me what it would hurt for someone to do a jiu-jitsu match or a wrestling match
You
or a
could
boxing
get
match.
injured.
I'm talking you do it young, though.
Yeah.
If you wait until you're like my age, or you, and then, oh, maybe we get hurt. But
Yeah.
young, if we all like, if you're in elementary school, it's like, okay, for a month you got to do wrestling. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the things in school. Most schools don't even have wrestling anymore.
Is that true?
Yeah, a lot of kids,
moving them
like
out?
they're moving. Like a lot of teams, they don't have teams. Let's have jiu-jitsu in schools. Let's have these things in schools.
I think I've said this many times. I think that would stop bullying.
I think we put these in schools and just give these kids a month.
Let me say, it wouldn't stop bullying. I think it would significantly reduce episodes of bullying.
And I think if we did jiu-jitsu and those sports in school, even for young girls, they're safer.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
They understand how to defend themselves. I think it's so important.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone should know something about
Everybody
how to
should
defend
know
yourself.
something about
Yeah.
combat. Because you're not always going to have the ability to get to something to help you.
Exactly.
You got to be able to do it with your hands and with your feet and
Yeah.
everything else.
And it's just a better thing to have and not need than to need and not have.
Yes. Could you imagine,
You know?
could you imagine not having, so I walk around the world unafraid. How comforting is that? To be able to know that no security, no anything, if push came to shove, you could at least defend yourself enough to be safe and your family. You could take care of them enough to be safe because of the skills that you've attained over the course of your life. That's comforting.
Yeah.
To be able to walk around the world like that.
You watch those Instagram videos, the same ones I watch, of dudes who have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and they get in these crazy brawls.
Dude, it's crazy.
They have no skill at all.
They
and they're
hurt
just
themselves.
swinging wild at each other, and you're like, my God, if someone knew how to fight, you would be so fucked right
Yeah,
now.
you're done.
And every now and then you find one where someone does know how to fight.
And they get
There was
hurt
these
bad.
two dudes tangling outside of a bar on a security camera, and this one dude just got up and kept fucking with this guy, and this guy just starts dink, dink, dink. He grabs him, uppercuts him, drops him.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, he beat the fuck out of this dude, and he knew what he was doing.
The
like,
average
clearly.
guy, the average guy can't
No.
fight.
No, the
Like,
average
the
guy can't
average
fight, but
guy
they think
can't fight.
They can when
They
they're
really
drunk, which is crazy.
I saw one dude unleash a head kick on a dude outside of a bar one time. That was
Did it
bad.
land?
Landed. Put his ass clean out backwards.
Oh my God.
I swear it was crazy.
Was it a good kick?
It was a beautiful kick.
Really?
It was,
So he was good.
The guy was good. The guy was like,
That's so-
"Stop! I don't want to fight. It calm down. It's all good, man. We don't. It's not a problem to do." He's like, "Come on, man. Stop." Dude kind of swung at him. Dude takes a step. He kind of goes, bang, head kick. Dude went forward. I was like, "Ooh, he went forward. It's over. He's really out." When they go forward, they're really out.
So many guys die like that.
He went forward.
So many guys die.
They hurt themselves.
banging
They get
their
hurt.
head-
Yeah.
Banging their head off the concrete.
He went forward. Everybody started panicking around him too. Like, oh my God. That's why you can't mess with people, man.
should never mess with people.
I don't mess with nobody, Joe.
No.
I literally just walk around trying to live in my own world, man.
Yes.
I'm happy. I hope you're happy. Like, let's just all just live in this. It's not reality. People tell me it's not reality, the world you live in. I'm like, well, it's better than trying to live in a world that's just awful.
Yeah. Well, you have some effect on the people around you, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you live life happy, you have a better effect on the people you run into. But there's a reality that you could always run into the wrong people.
Yeah, for sure.
That's real.
They're just bad people. They got bad people. Like, some people are bad people, man.
Yeah, they're bad people.
I'm like, God, you're a bad person.
And historically, that's always been the case.
Yeah.
There's always historically been bad people.
Just evil mugs, too.
Well, people that have been, mostly it's people that been fucked over themselves.
Yes.
Mostly it's kids that were raised by horrible people in horrible
Become-
environments, and they become that. That's most of it.
I
So,
watched.
I don't know how many people come out of the womb bad.
No.
You know what I'm
you're
saying?
you're formed.
Mm-hmm.
You're formed. I watched those. I was watching one on 2020 the other day. Dude, I'm old now because I'm like watching 2020 and shit. I used to get
Did you
so
watch
mad
it
at my
on
mom.
YouTube?
I get
Is it on TV still?
Yeah, dude, it's on TV.
I didn't
They're
know.
in season 45.
At least.
Do you watch TV?
Oh, I watch like a little Netflix every now and then,
Yeah.
or HBO or something like that.
No, I love TV.
TV, like with commercials.
I want to watch a commercial.
It's so crazy.
I'm like a nostalgia guy, bro. I'm like,
really?
You remember there was a time whenever we could not fast forward the commercial?
I remember it all. I remember I got a TiVo.
Yes.
You remember TiVo?
Yes, I do.
And you could pause TV.
You could
I'm
pause
like,
TV?
This is crazy. You could pause your TV.
Mind blown.
And then they started implementing it into DirecTV. We could just
Yeah.
pause the feed.
Pause it right
this
now.
Is incredible.
Go to the kitchen. Pause.
Incredible.
Come
I gotta
back.
take a leak. Pause.
Pause. Like unreal.
Yeah, you don't have to run back in. What happened?
I want to watch a commercial. And commercials work on me, too. Like, seriously, bro. I'm like the guy that I buy shit off of commercials. I'm like, yo, I got to see this because I'm like, oh, my God, this is real. But I'm watching 2020 on TV because I want to, like, watch. I fast forward some. But I watch one called The Dating Game Killer, bro. The Dating Game Killer.
I heard about this one.
Dude was a serial killer back in the 70s.
And he was on The Dating Game.
He was on how that's a bad person, knowing he's got that many bodies out there and he's on national television.
How many people had he killed before he got on the
Bro, he
the
killed a
dating
number.
game?
He killed a woman way back. Dude, could you imagine? Like growing up back, like being an adult in the 60s and 70s, nuts. There is no internet. There is no cell phones. Women that were out there in the world were at risk for serial killers because you couldn't track them. This woman and her husband, or boyfriend, had went up to like Montana. The boyfriend got mad at her, left her. Just left her. This guy picks her up, kills her. They don't find her till like 2000, bro. And she was, when they found her, they found that she was pregnant at the time. He killed her, and then he killed a number of other ones. And then he went on the dating game show. He was a bad guy. And then
See if you can find that video.
Bro,
The guy on The Dating Game.
the dating game killer is what he was called.
I remember he looked real.
He looked
creepy.
scary too, didn't he? And then, bro, they caught. Look at him. Look at him. They caught him because he was trying to take a little girl from a school. Hey, Joe. And when they caught that, when they finally got this dude at the end, Joe, they met him in jail because he had been rotting in jail for years. Look at all these women he got. Look at all these women he got.
God.
He was just a bad guy.
Jamie, can you go back to him talking? Can I hear him
I
talking?
mean, this is the Inside Edition report.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you
sure.
see if
Looking really good. Called.
She picked him, Joe.
Is actually a serial killer.
I'm called the banana, and I look really good.
No one had any idea.
Might be about it.
Joe,
imagine people were laughing at that back then?
can you believe that?
I'm called the banana.
I'm called the banana. Like, some of the shit on TV was crazy.
Really good.
Hey, man.
And everyone's like, ha, 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 ha. He said the banana.
That gal was going to get killed by this guy.
Oh, my
But
God.
when they set them up on the date, she goes, he's very creepy. I don't like him. They said when they went to see this dude and he's on his, like he's dying in jail, and they start bringing up these women that they had found. They said it was almost like he was going to a place of euphoria. Because even though he was like on his deathbed and he couldn't move, he was thinking back to those times. That's a bad guy.
Oh, my God.
He was like, he's like on the thing, like literally like losing his mind.
Oh, my God.
Because he's thinking of killing this woman. Or like doing what he was doing to these ladies.
God.
It's nuts, bro. That's a bad guy.
They let him act as his own attorney in his third trial, and he self-examined himself for 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Dude, 2020. I'm telling you.
You're allowed to do that?
I mean, they probably this might be one of the last times. I don't know.
Are you allowed to do like whatever you want? If you're fucking, if
You're out of your
if you're
fucking
your
mind.
own attorney and you're out of your mind.
What? You're going to be your own attorney, you dumb fuck?
I remember there was a guy that killed a bunch of people on the subway in Long Island, and then he acted as his own attorney too.
They lose every time.
And so he was questioning the witnesses. He's like, "Bitch, you shot me. What the fuck you talking about? You fucking shot me."
You're lying.
Yeah, the
Really?
defendant says that. Like,
Oh, my
What are
God.
you saying to defend? That's
But
you,
that's-
bitch. You
that's
fucking
just-
shot me.
But that's just somebody that's really messed up.
Yeah, crazy people.
But they're like formed. They're not born like that.
No, I mean,
at least I don't think so.
Who knows what they're born like? There is problems. People do have mental illness that runs in families.
Yeah, they do.
That's real, man.
They do.
I know people that have it. It's weird.
It's very weird.
It's weird because it's like if you don't have it, and then you see other people that do have it, you go, "Whoa, what is that like? Like, what is schizophrenia like?"
Yeah,
there's, I know people that are out there.
Really?
Out there.
I've never met anybody with that.
I know people that come back and they start acting normal again, and they go out there again, and you never know which one you're going to get when you talk to them.
That's not good.
Yeah, not good.
Or manic. When the person's manic,
yeah.
That's when they're really struggling.
Yeah, this is the guy.
Oh my God! The one thing I noticed was I could hear shots being fired already.
Solomon Butler is that man accused of shooting at Clements. Defending
Look at his head.
Butler posed questions to the officer.
I don't think this is the one.
Wait, did you see that guy's head? Did that guy get shot in the head?
Oh my God, he did.
No.
In court, the injury to Butler's head was obvious. Officer Clements.
Wow.
Wow, I've never seen anything like that.
He's missing a chunk of his head.
I've never seen anything like that.
I've seen a few things like
Really?
that. Yeah, people survive gunshot wounds and half their head's missing.
Half of the head's missing.
Yeah, and they can still function somewhat.
People can live like in a lot of different circumstances where a lot of stuff's missing.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy that they're still alive.
That's crazy.
That was nuts. His whole inside of his head's like dented in.
Yeah.
So where's his brain?
That part's probably not there anymore.
That part of his brain, is gone.
Is gone. Yeah. So I guess the rest of the brain has to pick up the slack or something.
Wow.
Or part of your body doesn't work well.
That's so crazy.
Oh yeah.
That's a freaky looking image there.
Yeah. This was a different one, but it doesn't matter, Jamie.
Oh, that's fine.
It was a subway killer in Long Island. Yeah, man.
Serial killer.
There's a lot of fucked up dudes out there. Women love serial killer shows.
Why, dude?
Weird, right?
It's so weird because But can a serial killer exist today?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, they exist.
No
there's
chance.
There's active serial killers. Yeah.
How?
Sure.
With all the stuff, like with the DNA and the videos and the cameras and the phones and the tracking.
Well, you have to have people looking for you, first of all, right? So you have to have left some sort of evidence to begin with.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Like, there was a guy named Henry Lee Lucas, and there's a movie made about him called Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I'm going to watch that.
They don't know how much of this guy's story is true, because apparently he took credit for a lot of murders that he couldn't have done.
Yeah.
But he definitely killed a lot of people as well. And they would just pick people up randomly. They would drive around the country randomly, find someone and kill them.
That's so bad.
And if you do that randomly, it's hard to catch people.
Yeah.
Like if it's your ex-husband and, he's been following you, tracking you, and you wind up dead, they look to the ex-husband.
Yes, for sure.
The ex-husband's been stalking her. There's some shit going on, and then you break them down under questioning. But if it's just a random, if someone just pulls up to a bus stop and shoots someone waiting for the bus and then gets back in their car and drives off and no one sees it.
Yeah. Most times there is like it's weird, right? Somebody like is watching, because there was another guy that I watched. He was robbing a person of a drug deal or something, and the cops were questioning all the people and said, "Has anybody seen anything unfamiliar?" There was a white van parked, and this lady next door was like, "Was it this white van?" And she just had a picture. And it was what led to the guy getting caught.
Wow.
Because the lady it was 2 in the morning, and she was randomly like up, which I don't understand why. And she saw a white van parked outside. She took a photo.
Wow.
And she gave him the license plate of the van that the people were using. So it's like, it feels like if you're doing something wrong, for the most part, somebody's going to witness it.
Well, the thing is, you're very likely to get caught.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if they go looking for you. But there was this one dude that studied did he go to school for criminal he went to school for something to learn the laws so he could be a better serial killer.
What?
Yeah, and he stabbed a bunch of people in this house. Was it like a sorority house or a dorm house?
Yeah, the Idaho thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy, they think he killed some people in western, in the western states too. They think he killed some people in, I think it was Washington. Some people turned out missing. That it seems like. So this guy, like, was studying was pursuing a PhD in criminology. Yeah. So he's like studying crime while he's a fucking serial killer. Look at his fucking eyes. Man.
All right, like look at his eyes.
Look at those eyes.
Right, like look at his eyes. Can you see in a person that, okay, this dude's a little messed up? Can you see that? Because there are people that there are people that say they can read people's energy and go, this person's energy is off.
Some people have off energy for sure.
You can feel it.
Yeah, you could feel it with some people.
Do you feel like they're evil though? Have you ever been around somebody and go,
screwy.
This dude's a little evil, man?
I don't think of the word evil. I just think screwy. Like, this is something wrong here. This is a facade. There's some wild shit going on behind the surface. You know? And you can't really tell from a photo. But the photo does look crazy.
That guy, the way he was looking at his attorney.
But I bet if you looked in his eyes.
Like crazy eyes.
Yeah, crazy eyes.
Yeah. You can, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could read a person's energy. Because I'm always trying to take the person for who they present themselves to be. That's probably one of my worst. It's probably like a problem.
Well, because you're real friendly.
Yeah, I always want to take.
I want everybody to be laughing and smiling.
I want to take everybody as what you give me is what I'm going to accept you as until you show me something different, and then it's done.
It just there's every now and then you get around a shyster.
Yeah.
Every now and then you get around some dude who's scamming people around you.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is going on with that dude? Like, what's happening here?
But like right now, like here's what I always wonder, right? And I know why, like when you enjoy going to the UFC, because it's just like people that we've all known forever, right? It's like we're all just calling the fights.
Right.
Life has to be pretty difficult at times. Because have you made new friends recently? Like can you make new friends?
Yeah, you can make new friends.
But can you actually make new friends and see that these people aren't like being like having ulterior motive?
No, there's good people out there.
Really?
Yeah.
And you can still trust them in your position today?
You have to have friends, man.
But new friends?
Yeah. I mean, look.
What was the last new friend you think you made? How many years?
I've made new friends in Texas. I've been here for 3 years.
When did you start your Spotify thing?
3 years ago.
And you've made new friends since then?
I've made new friends, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're good people.
Nice people, yeah.
Huh.
You look at you're worried about me.
I'm just saying, because for me, it's like, I don't know, Joe, I swear, Joe, I don't know if I see people react any weirder than when they're around you. They get all giddy and shit, man. Right? But it's like hard. It's like hard when you get to a certain level to really make new friends because, like you said, shysters are everywhere.
Things get weird, but there's still good people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still people that are just regular people. Generally, the people that I become friends with, they do things that I do as well.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's archery or whether it's jujitsu or whether it's comedy or people like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's
but you obviously don't hang around just in like you don't hang around in the same places that we did when the UFC first started blowing up. So you're not around the shysters.
No, not as much. No, but there's always some people around, right, that are trying to like do deals and fucking, you know, sell crypto. You know, there's always some weirdos.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's the craziest thing. Yeah, I was kind of wonder that, right? When you come up to the fights and we're all like having a great time, and then we kind of go back on our life, and sometimes we text about the fights, and it's awesome. But then I'm like, I wonder if Joe like has more friends that aren't guys from back in the day like us, right? Like that. No. It's just Joe.
Well, I certainly have a lot of friends that I'm still friends with from back in the day.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's just, it would seem hard.
It's weird. But good friends are always good friends.
And once you make a good friend, oh, it's so perfect, right?
Yeah.
They're just the best.
And you got to be a good friend. That's
one thing I'm not the best at.
You're not?
At times.
What are you talking about?
Bro, sometimes I'm not a great friend.
Why? What did you do wrong?
I just kind of be fucking up, man. Like I started. Sometimes I'm not a great friend. It sucks. Like, and sometimes I have to catch myself not being a good friend, right? Like, so I'll do things that I want to do, and then a lot of my friends will do things that I want to do. So I have to sometimes consciously make an effort to do things my friends want to do.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because it's not always, you're not a great friend if you're only doing things that you want to do.
True.
Right? So it's like, And then I got into this weird phase where I only hung out with people that I knew would only do what I want to do. So
you become a tyrant.
The equipment manager at Oklahoma State. Everybody else is hanging out. I'm hanging out with the equipment manager because it doesn't matter what I want to do. He's going to agree to it. And then, when I went to Oklahoma State, like when I went to AK, I'm hanging out with these random guys because they're always wanting to do what I wanted to do. But then ultimately, I started hanging out with Kane and all those guys. And obviously, when Kane got into his situation, right, to be a good friend, I got to go into that jailhouse to sit with him and talk to him and try to like support him as best I can.
Yeah.
And that's being a good friend.
Yeah.
At times, I might not have done that. Like, I wouldn't have done that, right? I would have called, had him, if he called, I would answer, right? And thought that that was enough. But that's not enough. To be a good friend, you got to, like, really be a good friend. Because I've got some great friends. And I've got some great friends from childhood. And it's like having it's the best, man. When you get good friends, like, it's the best.
Yeah, people that don't have good friends, I feel fucking terrible for them. That sucks.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not. You got to be having a good time with everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And most people are pretty cool, man. Like, there's bad people, but I've been lucky. I've been around some pretty cool people in my life. Like, John Anik's a cool fucking guy.
He's a cool fucking
Like, John Anik's a cool guy.
He's the best.
He's the best, bro.
Ever. He's 100% the GOAT.
How does he do a job with us? Like, sometimes we're literally just talking.
Yeah.
And then John's like, this fight is brought to you by Toyo Tires. And he's like, all right, go ahead, boys.
He's got to do the real work.
He's like, go ahead, boys.
We go on tangents.
Like tangents. And then John's like, all right, back to you, boys.
Yeah, but how fun is it?
It's the best, man.
I look forward to it so much. We do commentary.
Every single show.
Have fun.
Every single show.
We
I'm
have
like,
the best vibe. The three of us, and then with Megan too.
Yeah, and Megan too.
It's
like,
great, and then Dean. It's the great
Yeah,
vibe.
it's
it really
awesome.
Is.
It's awesome, man.
Dean's funny, man. It's like,
Dean is crazy.
I don't want to do any of that shit you guys are doing. I'll just chime in every now and again. That's what I like.
He's got an ascot on.
Always.
He's looking all good. And
no one dresses better.
Then Dean starts disrespecting dude. I'm like, Dean, that's disrespectful, man. Well, Dean said, well, the problem is he's holding his hands too low. He don't look like he know what he's doing out there. I'm like, oh my goodness, Dean.
But he's giving his honest opinions.
He's cornering Sean Brady this weekend.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting big get for Sean Brady.
Bro, Kelvin Gastelum at 170. I had a conversation with him at the Comedy Store one night.
Really?
And I said, this is after he knocked out Bisping.
Oh, he knocked. Yeah,
I said, I go, dude. You're fucking people up at 185. I think you're a world champion at 170.
Go back down.
If you just had the discipline to just diet correctly.
Yep.
And just because he always carried around all that
no
body
extra
fat.
weight. Yep.
You could do that at heavyweight. You can't do that at 85.
Not at 85, 70. As you get lighter, you got to be better.
Look at him. Look at his size. And now look at Dricus du Plessis.
That dude's huge.
He's huge.
Him and Sean Strickland is going to be fun.
That's 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 going to be a fun fight.
Because Dricus is
I didn't think he was good.
Oh, my God.
I was always hard on Dricus. And then now I'm looking at him like, well, he beat Robert Whitaker, who is the man, and he beat him down. He's gonna be.
He beat Darren Till easy.
Beat Darren Till easy. That dude.
That's a wild fight. He's big, man.
He's huge.
He's so big for that weight class. But Sean Strickland impressed me so much in that Adesanya fight. I was like, my God.
It was the best thing for me in that fight was talking to Sean before. He had a bit of this uncertainty about himself. Didn't know, right? Because Izzy is Izzy. He's a global superstar. He took the world by storm. And Sean, just not very long ago, got knocked out by Pereira. So he had these questions, and he doesn't hold back. He's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. Hell, they gave me the title fight because nobody else was there to fight. And he was just telling the truth. But the moment he got into the octagon, he beat Izzy, man. Every round.
He looked so
every
calm,
second of the round. He did not look like he was over. I said, he looks nervous when he walked into the octagon. A minute in, I go, he's not nervous, fellas. I go, this dude is locked in. And he pitched a shutout.
That right hand that he landed was so clean.
Izzy never bounced back from it.
Never bounced back. And but it was not just the right hand, it was all those left hands that came afterwards in the clinch.
He just was hitting
him with a bunch of left hands in the clinch.
He looked good, man.
He looked really good. You know, they have this UFC mouthpiece that they were using that registers how many times you get hit.
Yeah.
He spars the most and gets hit the least.
Because he does shoulder. He fights behind the shoulder.
He does.
That's why it's like.
And his distance management is really good.
He fights behind his shoulder. He manages distance well. He's popping his jab, and he's always on. He's pressuring you. He's pressuring you. These guys, he's good, man. He's good. I mean, Drakus is good. God, I cannot wait for Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards. That one in next week or 2 weeks, that's gonna be good.
That's a wild fight.
That's a crazy fight.
That's a wild fight.
Can Colby still fight this dude? He hasn't fought in almost 2 years.
Well,
Leon has looked amazing.
Leon has looked amazing. Leon, you know, there was a bump up once he got the champion.
There was
a bump up. Like,
yeah, he got better.
In the second fight, he looked even better.
He got better.
He looked even better.
He wasn't dealing with the altitude.
Ooh, that's
you
true.
remember
too.
we were in Utah? Like, I was tired.
That's true. It's like 5,000 feet.
Yeah,
right?
it sucks. It's like it sucks.
That's a good point.
He got better between fight 1 and fight 2. He defended takedowns better.
Yeah,
he outstruck Kamaru. He just fought better.
He got that 30% champion bump.
Yeah, dude. When Teddy Atlas said that, I was like, what is Teddy talking about? And then I was like, oh my God, he's actually better. Yo, Teddy Atlas.
That fight, whoa.
It's going to be a great fight.
That's a wild fight, man. That's a wild fight.
I believe, Joe, for everyone we watch in this beautiful sport that we have the honor of calling, no one has done more with less than Colby Covington. He's not the biggest. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. But he wins. And with those abilities, right, he has become a 2-time NCAA All-American. He has been the UFC interim champion. He's fought for the belt 2 times, and he's fighting for the belt another time. But nothing about Colby jumps off the page. He's meat and potatoes, as meat and potatoes as it gets.
Volume
and
endurance,
cardio.
Cardio off the
But
charts.
that all comes with hard work, right? That he's not going to outjump anyone. He's not going to jump higher than anybody. He's not going to run faster than anybody. But with his abilities, he has done that. That's crazy. Because we have seen many people like this that don't accomplish what Colby Covington accomplished. I think Colby Covington's tremendous, man, but Leon Edwards is I mean, dude's won 13 fights in a row, or has not lost in 13 fights.
One of the smoothest strikers ever.
Oh,
he's so smooth.
When you start rocking.
You ever watch him hit the pads?
Yeah.
It's a thing of art.
I watched a thing today, and I was showing this to Lappy. I said, I saw these guys sparring in glory. And I said, there's never been a day in my life where I looked like this in sparring. The combination was perfect, Joe. He was all boom, 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 kick, and then another kick. I was like, you just don't look that smooth. But my question is,
look at it.
Look at him. Yeah, look at him.
We've never pad work.
Jeez.
Come on, man. He
looks
smooth.
good, bro.
Everything is just so precise, you know?
Yeah.
Everything he does.
Rocky. Strong and big, too, though. He's
that
big.
Fucking left high kick, bro. Oh, my God. That left high kick is hell.
I mean, he's made it. He's really changed his life with that head kick.
Yeah, man.
And then he said head kick, bang.
Yeah.
He's in the octagon with you. And
that post-fight interview was wild.
Dude.
That was wild.
Look at me now.
Look at me
I
now.
said I couldn't do it. Look at me now.
Play that, Jamie.
Look at me now.
Ooh, there's some of those, man, that make me
flutter
tear up.
Dude, you
tear
flutters.
It's been a long 4 years. Don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Look at me now. Half a pound, headshot, dead.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh, my God.
That's so crazy.
Incredible.
It was so intense, bro.
That's
like
incredible. I'm tearing up.
Some of these ones that it's in those moments, right, where you can't help but feel good for the person.
Oh, yeah, man.
I saw it. It was Amanda Nunes too. One time Amanda won, and we were all crying. She had her daughter, and we're all sitting next to the octagon crying. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Doug Rose made me cry.
Oh, I was like, "This is the most beautiful shit I've ever seen."
Yeah.
Like when you get to witness people accomplish great things, it's fucking amazing.
It's amazing.
Even like, and I'm not talking about just athletically, but just in life.
In life.
When you see people do great things, you're like, wow, man, I'm happy for this dude.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely happy for this dude. I remember when you first started to move here. I was like, I smiled, right? I was like, this dude worked really hard, and now he's done some amazing shit. Like, good for Joe. It's like you could feel good for people. Like when I saw this was way back in the day, when John Anik did his first UFC pay-per-view. I knew how he had started from ESPN. This dude was doing overnight highlights. And then he did all those fight nights. And then he got up to the pay-per-view, and it was you guys. And I said, look at John. And I was, like, happy for him.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, like, the biggest thing is to have an ability to feel good for someone when they accomplish something great. Because accomplishing great things is not easy. It's very difficult. So to see that and feel that appreciation for that person and their work, it's amazing, man. And we get to do that constantly, watching these humans just overcome and do things that 90% of the world can't do.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And when you're around things like that a lot, it inspires you.
Yes.
It inspires you to work harder, push hard. No one, like for a championship level MMA fight, is there a more difficult thing to prepare for in all of sports?
No, I don't think so.
How could there be? Between the wrestling and the kicking and the punching and the jiu-jitsu, what could be more difficult? And you have strength and conditioning sessions.
Yeah. I was doing when I was fighting at 205, I was doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. Then I was doing 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 workouts a week to become a UFC champion. I would get up at 7 a.m. I would hit pads on Monday, Wednesday. Then I would go to sparring. And then I would do bikes at night, cardio. Tuesdays, 11 a.m. pads, 12 o'clock wrestling. Then at night, I would hit pads again and run. I was doing 15 a week. And there were times, Joe, towards the end, because I started old. I was almost 31 when I started fighting. So there were times when I got to 37, 38, when I was the UFC champion, where I would get so beat up because I wanted to train like I was taught to train my whole life, that bro, I would crawl up the stairs. I hear stories of Kamaru Usman walking down the stairs backwards.
Yeah, he does that.
But he's still fighting at it. But when those lights go on and he's inside the octagon or it's time to prepare, he gets himself ready. Yeah. That's what championship mixed martial arts is. Yeah. Being so beat down, but being able to turn it on enough to work hard as you possibly can and give yourself an opportunity. I would crawl up my stairs.
You imagine how good Kamaru would be with 2 good knees?
He has no knees. Yeah, could you imagine that?
Could you imagine?
He's still one of the greatest welterweights of all time, and he has no knees. No knees.
You ever notice the difference between the muscles in his leg and the muscles in his upper body?
No. Oh, yeah. He's got tiny legs.
Tiny legs.
His legs are so skinny. He walks, like it's almost like his knees are bent forward when he walks. And I wonder if he developed that to relieve pressure off of his knees.
Probably.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, he has to walk. He was telling me that he has to walk on the grass when he's next to grass on sidewalk.
Yeah.
He walks on the grass because it doesn't hurt his knees as much.
Can you believe that? But that's not, and that's crazy for Kamaru, but most athletes at the top of this sport have those types of stories because it just beats you down. Like the sport beats you down, but there's nothing like it.
But there's no one's ever come back from a knee replacement.
No.
Fought.
No, it's over. If you got to replace your knee, it's over. You got to put that stuff off until you're done. If I could do it again, I wouldn't have done the back surgery after the Lewis fight.
Bisping says he still runs. He still runs.
He does run.
Knees.
He does run. Mike is a savage, though.
That seems so crazy.
He spit in Singapore too. If y'all listening in Singapore, Mike spit. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Mike spit. He spit, bro. Mike, he goes, I was running and I spit. I was like, you're not supposed to do that here, man. You're not supposed to spit on the ground or spit gum out and stuff.
Whoa.
They don't like you to do that. You can't eat sunflower seeds. None of that stuff. It's so clean there.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't like that. So Mike spit on the ground in Singapore.
Mike fought like 10 fights with one eye.
One eye.
10.
Can't see.
10 fights. Won the world title with one eye.
Can you believe that? He said, I was an international fighter because not many commissions like, that. Yeah. So he was going all around the world. He fought
how about this new dude that just fought in the UFC?
Oh, my God. Did you see that guy? Yeah. Shaibin.
Yeah. One eye.
He's a savage, though.
He's fucking
Are we
good,
talking about
dude.
the Russian dude?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He's
How
scary
good is
looking
his
dude, too,
striking?
man.
Oh,
That
yeah, he's
dude is
terrifying with the one
nasty.
eye.
That dude is nasty.
Isn't it crazy how good he can fight with one eye?
He got to have two eyes,
No,
Joe.
he's got one eye.
Come on.
He's blind.
He's blind?
That's why he's fighting overseas. He's blind in his right eye.
He fought in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
you're right. No commission.
He's blind in his right eye.
Hey, did you see that doctor in Abu Dhabi just messing up?
Yeah, I did.
Poor guy, right?
Yeah, not good.
That was sad, man. I felt bad for him at the end. I was like, oh, I feel bad for him. He's just fucking up because they don't know.
They don't know.
They don't fight.
You need a doctor that works fights.
You need to send somebody over there
because otherwise someone's going to see a cut eyebrow and just stop it. Meet the controversial UFC prospect who's partially blind in one eye.
Yeah,
he can see light, I think, in that other eye.
They call him Shara Bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he's a... Hey, he can fight, Joe.
Oh, he's fucking
He
good,
can
man.
fight.
He's had a ton of surgeries on that eye, too,
but he's
to
been
try to save it.
He's been fighting forever, though. Mm-hmm. And when you're fighting
Pull
over
up
there...
his highlights. His fucking striking is
M1
so
Global
beautiful.
and all those shows, you're fighting absolute killers.
Oh, yeah.
So when you get here, you're ready to go.
He doesn't have good takedown defense.
No, the last guy didn't even try to take him down, which is stupid. Because this guy, if you're going to stand and strike with him, you're going to find yourself in trouble at some point.
He's dangerous.
He's dangerous.
And he's so slick. Like those kicks, oh my God, they're so fast.
Yeah.
Here he is. This is him. This is like a highlight.
Side kick.
He hook kicked that dude.
Hook kicked him.
Hook kick KO.
And that's him real young.
And this is back when he had two eyes.
So wait, something happened?
No, I think.
Yeah, he got his eye poked.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, he got his eye poked, had a detached retina, had multiple surgeries on it.
Jeez.
Yeah. He's just so interesting to watch strike. It's such a fucking devastating kick-heavy style.
That's that one right there. You start running into those knees. Those suck.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Look at this.
He's super aggressive, too.
Yeah. Oh, look at that spinning elbow. My goodness. Look at this.
He showed him the knee first, too.
Yeah.
Showed him the knee. Dude's hands dropped.
I mean, set that up perfect. Set that up perfect.
Savage. So spend his whole life kickboxing, doing everything else, and now...
That's the thing, man. These guys that come from an elite level striking background, every fight starts striking.
It does.
If they can figure out the takedown defense, like Mirko Krokop was the first guy to do it.
Yeah.
He was the first guy. When he was fighting in Pride, he learned takedown defense and then just started fucking everybody up.
I used to look at some of those guys, Krokop, Big Nog, Josh Barnett. I'm like, these dudes are heavyweights. So when I went down to 205, I was like, I was never really a heavyweight. Because those dudes are heavyweight. They got their legs are like this big.
Yeah, like
huge
Pavlich.
asses, big arms.
Aspinall.
Aspinall's a heavyweight.
That's a big dude.
That's a big dude,
Francis.
man. Francis is a heavyweight.
Derek.
Sergey, Derek. Those guys are actual heavyweights.
Yeah.
When
yeah,
they
if
walk
you can
in
make
that
205, make 205.
Go to 205.
Yeah.
That's my advice. Jai Hilton. At some point, Jai Hilton's going to have to face that. Like, I'm not a heavyweight. It'll be the moment somebody can't take him down. It'll be like, he might get through it, but he might have to reconsider because
it's unfortunate because there was so much hype on him before the Lewis fight.
He just didn't fight well.
Didn't fight well.
It was weird because
almost like he just wanted to get that W.
Wanted to get a victory. I like Derek, and I think Derek is like great for the sport. But like if I submitted him, right? It's like you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. You got to submit him. You know, you got to find a way to finish that fight. But Derek's so strong. He was trying to punch Derek, and Derek was just holding his hand with his arms. He's like got two arms holding his hands, and so the guy's just stuck.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How strong must you be? How strong must you be to reach up and grab a guy by the hands and not let him hit you?
Right.
We saw that again just recently. Somebody was doing it. It was Pereira. Pereira was grabbing Yuri's hands and not letting him hit him.
Yeah.
How?
Just strength.
How do you grab someone off your back and hold them enough to make sure they don't hit you?
I would imagine if you have really long hands.
Yeah, like
really
fingers.
really big hands and long fingers, and Pereira does.
Yeah.
When you see him when he's walking with his hands up, they're fucking huge. They're paddles.
He was like
giant hands.
It's like holding him, and like Yuri's arm is like going sideways.
Semi
He's trying to pull it
used
away.
to do that to dudes.
Really?
Yeah,
like
Semi
hold him.
used to grab a hold of wrists. He'll grab a hold of your wrists, and his hands were so huge. Remember, Semi was like 7
he was
feet
like
tall.
7 foot tall.
Yeah.
Those super tall guys, like, I don't think it benefits them. Stefan Struve, those guys were at such a severe disadvantage because they were so tall. Travis Brown, I don't think he'd be 6'7" and fight MMA.
Really?
I don't think so. I think it's too tall, too much leg, too much like they can take you down. I don't think it works. I think the perfect heavyweight is about 6'4", 255, 260. That's what I think. That's what I think for me. I think that's what the perfect heavyweight looks like.
I think the perfect heavyweight is Francis.
What's Francis?
6'5",
6'4", yeah, 6'4", 6'5", 260.
Yeah.
Perfect heavyweight.
Wheelhouse. Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. 6'4",
Yeah.
6'5",
natural 260, jacked.
Yes, jacked, strong.
Yeah.
That's the perfect heavyweight.
Are you bummed out that we don't get to see John Jones versus Francis? Because I am bummed out.
I'm so sad about
I
it.
do not like that.
That's the one that I
That's the
wish.
one.
And I think now Francis is making so much money boxing, he'll never come back.
Well,
That's
the
what
only way to
scares
get him to come back, you see, the problem is he signed this contract with the PFL. If he didn't sign a contract, well, who knows? Maybe he wouldn't have got the boxing match. If he didn't sign
Yeah,
a
he wouldn't have got the boxing.
But so he goes and he gets his boxing match. Now he's a superstar. He drops Tyson Fury. He beats him up in the 8th round. It was wild.
It was
wild
crazy to watch, man.
Wild to watch. Like, I can't
Crazy
believe
to watch.
I was on the seat of my fucking chair.
Hoping he was winning, too.
I was
like,
cushions.
please win, please
grabbing
win.
cushions, twisting in the 8th round. Like, Jesus. Oh, my God, he's got him.
It felt like he had... It was crazy because every time... And I told this to a boxing guy. I went on his an interview, and I said, even though I believe that Tyson is going to win, I'm an MMA guy, and he's one of ours, so let's go.
Yeah.
Like, he gonna beat him. I was like, he gonna knock him out. Then he started winning, and I was like, oh my God, he might actually win. So while I was rooting for Francis, I didn't necessarily know if he really could beat him. But then when it started to become a little bit closer, I was like, oh my God. Has Tyson Fury come on this?
Yes.
On the show?
Yes.
He's huge, right?
He's giant.
He's a monster.
Yeah,
but
he's
he
huge.
didn't look great against Francis.
Do you think that he overestimated himself? You think that's what it was?
I think he overlooked Francis.
Underestimated Francis.
He said he said going into the fight that his diet was like hamburgers and McDonald's. He said that walking into the fight night.
And he hit him with an elbow,
That
too.
was a beautiful elbow.
Nice elbow.
It was a beautiful
You think
elbow.
that was on purpose?
No, he couldn't do that. He couldn't do that again. He couldn't do that again.
Unless he knows how to throw an elbow, which I bet he does.
I would bet you that Tyson Fury. No, I mean not perfect like that.
Oh,
Joe,
man, it looked like
Joe.
He looked like he was throwing an elbow.
But Joe, like, look at how he turns the
I
elbow
know.
over. Like that's
what I'm
that's good
saying.
skills.
But of course he would learn that. Why wouldn't he learn that? He knows how to box.
He's trying to punch him. It looks like he's trying to throw an overhand, right, and he just misses.
Yeah, I guess maybe. It also could be he's throwing an elbow. I mean, it's not like he doesn't know how to throw it. Just because he knows how to box, you don't think someone's showing him how to throw elbows?
I don't think he can throw an elbow.
Why not?
I just don't believe it. I think, like, look.
It could be a hidden skill.
I mean, let's see this.
Bro,
let's see.
This looks like he is even...
I mean,
Let's see. He misses...
I feel like his hand's already turned down.
His hand's turned down at range. Did this guy just actually throw an elbow?
He's throwing an elbow. He just threw an elbow.
So when Francis is saying Tyson cheated, Tyson knew what he was doing.
Yeah, it looked like an elbow.
It's a nasty
it could
elbow.
be an accident. We don't know.
It's perfect.
But if that was an MMA fight or a Muay Thai fight, I would say that's a beautiful elbow.
Chris Weidman, Mark Munoz.
Yes.
Do you remember that one?
Yes.
Oh, my God. That was
just like that.
Just like that.
But more devastating.
But Mark was running into
Yeah.
it.
Oh, my God.
Right? Mark was trying to get close.
Yeah.
And Weidman just timed the perfect elbow.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at this.
Oh, my goodness. Perfect time.
And remember how bad it split him open?
Oh, yeah. Dude, Weidman was a motherfucker.
He was the
in
best,
his
wasn't
prime.
he?
You know,
he was
just
the best.
The one kick with Luke Rockhold changed his whole
Why did
career.
he do that? He did that spinning kick. He
How
should have
crazy
never
is
did that.
But how crazy is it?
It's one mistake, dude. Sometimes it's one mistake in there. You make one mistake and it costs you. he did that kick. Luke gets on top, and Luke just beat the shit out of him.
Beat the shit out of him.
He would have never taken him down. He had never taken Chris down. But when he beat him up that bad that way, he goes, I'm going to take this dude down now. So then he went and chased him down. If Chris doesn't throw that kick.
Top pressure.
He was so good on top, Joe. Oh, my goodness, he was so good on top.
Yeah, people don't give him his props.
He's one of those guys that his personality has turned people off to the point that they don't respect what he did in the octagon. This guy beat Tim Kennedy in Strikeforce. He beat Jacare Souza. He beat everybody. Then he became the UFC champion. He beat Bisping once. He beat a lot of good guys. Do you remember the reverse triangle against the guy in Atlanta? What was that guy's name in Atlanta? Luke Rocco did a reverse triangle. It was nasty.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name. David Branch. Was it David Branch? I mean, he was just, look at this. This is against big burly cat that was in the UFC back in the day. Tim Bosch, I think his name was.
That's right. That's right.
Luke hits him with the Kimura. Then right here, look at this. He hits a reverse triangle on this dude.
That's Bosch too.
That's how he got him in the deal.
Into this. Look at this.
Off the reverse triangle, but it was a black guy that he got with the reverse triangle in Atlanta. David Branch, I believe, who it was. It was sick.
Yeah. Well, David Branch came after him in the beginning of that round. He caught him a couple of times. Yeah.
Came at Luke.
Yeah, unloaded.
Unloaded.
Yeah.
Thought he could punk him. But, you know, Luke's biggest issue was when people realized, and it was Bisping, when people realized that if you hit him, you could hurt him, they started throwing caution to the wind. And that's when he started to struggle. Because we used to beat each other up quite a bit in the gym. Like, it was bad. And when people realized that if you could hit him, you might be able to put him out of there. So then he got knocked out by Mike. Then he got knocked out by Romero. Then he got knocked out by Jan Blachowicz. And it was like, if you can get your hands on him, you can put him out. And that's
Blachowicz, too. That's 205.
Yeah, he went up.
Blachowicz is a big dude.
He thought he was going to be okay up there, right? And why would you not? Because you had been training with us for so long.
Right.
Right? And I had become the champ there.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know Jan Blachowicz and I were in the same weight class. I thought he fought at 185, bro.
Really?
I swear to God. So then I asked him a question. I was like, well, since you went to 205, he was like, DC. I was like, yeah? He was like, I was ranked in the top 15 while you were the champion, idiot. I was like, really? I had no idea.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
You didn't even know he was in your weight class.
Because when you're like when you're the best, like when you're the champ, you really are looking 1 to 5. I don't think I ever looked past 5 because I figured I was never going to fight any of those guys.
Interesting.
It was always going to be either Glover, Jones, and then they said Volkan Ozdemir, and I was like, same paycheck? I was like, yo, same pay? It was like, yeah. I was like, all right, yeah. Volkan.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yuri Prohaska, like up until this Pereira fight, he was one of the most interesting guys in the light heavyweight division because he just does everything so weird.
Yeah, he's a very unorthodox guy, but he's also a guy that was groomed outside of the UFC. He beat one night. He beat CB Dalloway and King Mo on the same night.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the man, bro. So he was ready. That's why he had won the UFC title in 3 fights. He only fought Volkan when he got there, his first fight. Then he beat Dominic Reyes. Then he beat Glover to become the champ.
Yep.
It's nuts. For me, it's crazy also to see at 205 how between 2010 all the way to 20, nobody had the belt but me and John Jones. And then the belt just kept getting passed around. I wonder who is going to be the person that brings stability again. Do you think Pereira can be that long-reigning champion? Or, I mean, with Jamal Hill and all those guys out there, they're all so good and so close.
They're all so good and so close. And I'm curious to see, how his grappling progresses.
He has got to get better.
Yeah, but it can get better, and Glover's a great coach. It's good to be with Glover.
Yeah.
To pick up the finer points of grappling, especially grappling for MMA.
Is it just about, though, that him, when he gets taken down, survive? Because
maybe
that's what he did against Jan, knowing that he doesn't get tired and he can beat you up. He did it against Yuri. Yeah. Yuri beat him in the first round, same thing. But then every round starts on the feet, like you said.
And every round he's going to chop that calf.
And he'll beat you up until eventually he gets you. But at what point does a Bo Nickel or somebody get a hold of him and
it's a very good point.
He can't get away from him.
Well, you know, if Bo goes up to 205.
He'd have to go up now, but he was at 85 before.
He's going to drop back down again.
No, he's not. He said he's not.
Like, what is he, 35 now? 34, 35?
It's so crazy when you see him. He's like, you think he's young.
Yeah.
He's in his mid-30s.
Well, he had a long kickboxing career.
He was. I mean, he literally was in that bar in Brazil, and Izzy had to say something.
Did you ever see his fight with Dustin Jacoby?
No, I never.
It's another one.
Dustin Jacoby was a really good kickboxer?
Very good kickboxer.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's a good athlete. He was a quarterback, I think, in football or something.
Pereira shot his lights out with a left
Knocked
hook.
him out? That left hook is nasty.
It's brutal.
He's so good.
This is like the first time I think I saw Pereira fight was this fight. So you can find that. I think this was the first time I saw him fight.
He's so good,
and
bro.
I was just like, whoa. Like that is extraordinary power. And then I'm like, I'm going to keep my eye on this dude.
Yeah.
And I watched a few of his fights. The Justin Willis fight was insane.
Let's see that. Oh.
I mean, dude, that's just a different kind of power.
That left hook is nasty.
Let me see that again. That is just a different kind of power.
He always lifts his knee, too.
Pereira needs to stay in the hands. That's what's doing it. And just keep honking with the hands.
Oh.
Bro,
that's nasty.
Who hits harder than that, dude?
I don't think anybody does.
I don't think anybody
I
does.
really don't think anybody does.
Find the Justin Wilness fight. Excuse me, Jason Wilness
and when these guys are going down, they're like out.
Yeah.
They're
That's the
out.
crazy thing about the way he hits guys. It's different.
Yeah.
His power is just, it's nuclear.
And what about your boy Yuri was like, yeah, the stoppage was fine.
Yeah, he said that, but then afterwards he changed his mind.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Those legs. Nice outside low kick.
And by the way, Wilness is like a legit world champion.
Really?
Yeah. Legit world champion. This is a high-level fight.
Pereira, he's tall, man.
Sweat this.
Oh! Head kick. Oh, my goodness.
Now wait for the end.
That looked like it hit his hand. Jeez, what power that Pereira had. And now Pereira go for the...
Oh! That's that same knee from before.
Yep.
See, but this Joe. Look at this, Joe. Now tell me this guy's not done. To my point about boxing and
exactly.
Tell me Wilness is not done.
And you're counting.
Right? He was
Imagine.
already counting.
Right.
If that guy could have got up at 8 or 9, they would have let him go back to fight Pereira.
But bro, that knee is fucking
That's the one he got the guy with in the beginning in the UFC.
So when you see a guy like that that's doing that at 2 different weight classes in kickboxing,
yeah,
you can't wait to see a guy like that fight now in MMA.
So I want to ask you this.
Okay.
Alex Volkanovski, right? He spoke about after the fight with Islam how he was in his own head when he didn't have anything. Now he's fighting against Ilia Topuria very quickly. I wonder aloud if Alex Volkanovski will have any lingering effects from that knockout, because when we see him, we're all like raving he's the best.
Yeah.
Is it just as simple as him just going back down to 45 and he'll be fine again? Because Topuria is a monster, bro.
Topuria is a monster. And that's a fight you don't want to take if you're compromised.
Yeah.
And it's also a fight that he could have just waited for. I'm all in favor of making wild fights. And when Dana White was like, it's going to be Volkanovski versus Makhachev 2, I'm like, oh, shit.
Like,
take my money.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm like, take my money. Let's go. But if I was Alex's friend and we were talking about this, if he asked me my advice, I'd have to think about it a lot.
Yeah.
Because I would think, I know you believe you can beat him because you almost beat him in the first fight. However, you had a full camp.
Yes.
How much better are you with a full camp? You're better.
He's way better.
Everyone's better. There's
way
no
better.
No one is better with no camp, right?
No.
Can we agree?
Yes,
No
absolutely.
one. Especially if you're not injured in camp. No one's better with no camp. No
Yeah,
one. Doesn't
nobody.
exist.
Doesn't work.
So it's dependent upon how hard you were training. How hard were you training before you took this fight on 10 days' notice? Were you preparing for potentially fighting 2 months from now and you already ramped up training and you already have like real good cardio and you're already sparring?
Yeah.
Like, or have you been just kind of fucking off here and there and then you're like, I can fucking do it?
Yeah.
Because I can fucking do it is not a good strategy against the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Yeah.
You want a camp. Like, a rematch was going to happen anyway.
Yes.
It had to happen. But
yes.
You don't take that rematch, in my opinion, with 10 days' notice. That seems insane.
And the only reason...
You want 10 weeks.
You want 10 weeks. But the only reason anyone thought he had an opportunity was because of how great he is.
Yes.
Right? If he wasn't so great, nobody would have ever thought he had a chance.
Right.
But because of his greatness, I worry that because of his greatness, we're going to believe that come February or January, he's going to fight Topuria, and you almost expect the same thing. But what if it's too soon?
And listen, even if he wasn't compromised, even if he didn't fight Islam, Topuria is a nightmare.
Yes, he is.
He's a nightmare.
Yeah.
He's scary. What he did to Josh Emmett, I was like,
nasty.
Oh, man.
He's nasty.
What he did to Bryce Mitchell, like, oh, man.
He's so good. And he's so skilled. And he's got great boxing, got great takedown defense.
Everything, everywhere.
I got knocked out by Jones in Anaheim. And I got called for a fight in late September. And I said, no, I need time. I need to let my brain heal. He got knocked out in October. He's going to fight in February.
Yeah.
It's fast, man. I just...
He got knocked out by a shin.
A shin.
A shin to the head.
It's a little bit worrisome for me, and I like Volk. He's the man.
But then again, Izzy knocked Pereira out cold. And then
in November.
3 months later, he's fighting Jan Blachowicz.
Oh, yeah, and fought better.
Yeah.
He got knocked out in April, won in July.
Out cold. I mean, Volkanovski wasn't out cold.
No, he was not out cold.
Yeah, this guy was asleep, and Izzy was above him shooting arrows into his body.
Doing some crazy stuff, right?
Wild. And then 3 months later, that dude's fighting Jan Blachowicz.
Hey, 6 months later, he's the world champion.
Crazy.
Alex Pereira.
I mean, he's had one of the quickest the absolute quickest to 2 titles.
I've never seen anything like that.
Nothing's ever been like that.
No, never in my life.
The thing is, man, like if the dude really can just survive under everybody if he gets taken down and then just beats your legs up, it's a real problem.
He beats your legs up and then he forces you to make a mistake and he takes advantage.
Yes.
Every single time.
But
single time.
I think Jamal Hill's a real challenge for him.
You think so? The unorthodox?
Jamal's a sniper, man. He finds chins.
Jamal said he's not going to take him down.
Dude.
He said he's not taking him down. He's going to knock him out.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not taking him down. I'm going to knock him out.
He might.
I think I would take him down.
Who knows?
I would try to take him down. I would definitely not give him just a stand-up fight.
Jamal's got some nasty hands, man.
He does.
He really does have some nasty hands. He promises to KO Alex Pereira standing.
Yeah.
You know, I have never seen him fight anybody of that caliber.
Yeah.
Yet. But I think he's capable.
He's very capable.
You know, what he did to Glover was very impressive.
Dude, he just beat him up.
Just beat him up.
He really did just beat him up.
I mean, when you think how Yuri struggled with Glover, and then Jamal Hill just pieced him up.
He just kept touching him and touching him and touching him.
And it was clever. It was smooth.
He's so unorthodox.
Yeah.
He does these weird movements where he's kind of like back behind his head and chest or behind his feet. He's like,
but it works.
It works.
It works.
He's developed a style for him.
He's got power.
He's got power.
He's got real power.
He's so big.
Johnny Walker KO.
He's so big for the weight. He's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, right now he's as big as I've ever seen him, but he's like huge for the weight class.
How much more time does he need for his Achilles?
It's going to be a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not Aaron Rodgers. Hey, bro, you know what's some of the funny shit I ever seen in my life?
What?
You know what I'm going to say. When Aaron Rodgers something happened with Aaron Rodgers, and he said, you told him something?
Yeah.
That was the craziest shit. I was like, Joe's a doctor. He was telling me all this stuff. It was like, he was saying all this stuff, and I was like, wow, he did it. But now I'll never question you or Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is about to play football 11 weeks after tearing his Achilles.
Yeah.
What is he doing? How?
You'd probably have to ask him.
You know him?
Yep.
Tell him. Do you tell me what he's doing?
I'll tell you later.
This dude is somehow playing after 11 weeks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Joe, when I saw him on the field throwing that football, I could not believe it. He tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
7 weeks later, he was on the field throwing passes. He got cleared for football activities this week. How? He's 40.
Yeah, there's a lot of modern science going on here. Look at him.
Get out of here, man. This shit is crazy, man. I'm like, when I start feeling bad, I'm not calling nobody but you. I want you to tell me how to feel better. How?
If I had to guess, like, if I didn't know, I would tell you peptides.
If you had to guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
if I didn't know, I'd tell you peptides.
Yes. Because, dude, how? Like, this guy is...
That's what I think people should be using for the UFC. This is the argument for peptides, if that's what he's using. I'm not saying he is. But that's the argument, is that they help you heal. And when you're dealing with all these issues, like John Jones should be able to get some peptides.
If he did 100%. Peptides, would it help his...
Yes, it would help it would help his recovery.
Hey, can I see that picture of Aaron Rodgers again? Yeah. He looked good out there, too. Could you imagine being the Jets, though? Oh, man, it was perfect. He runs out. He's carrying this huge American flag. Yep. That place was loud. I don't watch the Jets. I don't know if you watch football, but...
I do.
Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets was like, the Jets have been terrible for a long time. They have the world. They have the world. Everything's going for them.
His legs look jacked.
They look jacked.
Like he had any atrophy of
Look
his
at him.
legs.
He's just like stepping up on his toe and everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Wild.
He runs out with that massive flag.
Look at the calves on that motherfucker.
The place is going crazy, and then he tears his Achilles.
Nuts.
And then they had that young kid as their quarterback. But could you imagine watching this guy work playing football? I saw a video on that Hard Knocks thing, and they have these circles, Joe. These circles, they're targets. And that thing was 20 yards away. And every time he would throw, he's like, top right. And it would just go inside that little thing every time. Bottom left. Inside, he never missed. He was so accurate. He was so accurate. He was saying, it's like A in the Rogan. Bam. That American flag at the top. Inside the bucket. He never missed.
Wow.
That dude's sick, man.
Well, you want to imagine the practice involved in getting that good at throwing a football.
So accurate.
How many hours has that
And
guy
that football's
put in?
like this big.
Yeah.
Have you ever grabbed an NFL football? It's huge. You barely. I can't even get my hands on it. I've got small hands for a fighter, though, but it's huge. And then you look at the receivers. I went to a golf course in Florida, and when I walked up, it was Chris Carter from the Vikings. Dude's fingers were like all like broken and turned sideways because I said, "What happened to your hands?" He goes, "Catching footballs."
Wow.
From like all them great quarterbacks. Like when dudes that play with Brett Favre, their hands are tore up because he's throwing so hard that he's like knocking their fingers back and stuff.
Wow.
Can you believe that? Like trying to catch a football.
I can. It makes sense. I mean, if you catch one on the tip of your finger when you're trying to grab it and it gets yanked back.
And they got to throw it fast because these DBs are like whoever guarding you is so. There's like a short window to get it in there. Dude, it's nuts. Football's that's crazy.
How long before you think MMA gets to the point where you see athletes of that caliber consistently entering to MMA?
It's going to be a little bit.
Jump.
I think it'll be a little bit. You know why? Because if you have that ability to play football, they go play football because the money's so big.
Right.
But could you imagine a Fred Warner or he's a linebacker for the 49ers, the best in the game.
How about when Herschel Walker started fighting in Strikeforce in his 40s?
And still was okay.
And fucking people up.
I got some crazy shit about Herschel.
Tell me.
Dude, Herschel ate one time a day.
Yeah, I heard that.
He would eat soup and bread one time a day. And he stayed at this great hotel called the Fairmont. And I think he was staying there free because Herschel Walker owns this massive chicken company. He provides chicken to McDonald's. Herschel Walker's chicken is I think he provides chicken to McDonald's and like all these big companies. And the Fairmont was one of them, so he stayed there. He ate soup once a day. And Herschel Walker, while he was very athletic, Joe, he never picked up his feet. So his feet would kind of like drag on the ground. Fucker would shock the shit out you every time he punched, dog. Herschel was getting static electric in his feet because he never picked them up, and the fucker would hit and it would shock you.
That's crazy.
Constantly. And he would knock people out. And bro, he's like Herschel Walker, I think it's documented that he has, like we talked about, Mike Tyson. Like that guy that lives in that world, and then the guy that we see daily. I think Herschel, it's documented that he has some of these issues,
like a personality,
like
disorder?
A personality. The first time he fought in Strikeforce, we're in the HP at San Jose, and We're getting ready to go out, and he starts going crazy, cursing at himself. I'm going to kick your ass. But all I've ever heard from Herschel was like very soft-spoken, you know, talking about religion and everything. He turned into a completely different person. When he walked into that octagon, he went off. Right here. Bro, he was saying some crazy shit to himself.
Was this his first fight?
First fight. Yeah, bro. I cornered him, Joe.
How old was he?
44 years old, 45 or 46, something like that. But look at his feet. See how his feet never come up? Mm-hmm. It would always static. Look at him. Look at him. That was that's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God, he just started getting mad.
Dude, I'm telling you, he did that in the back before we went out there. Watch at him. Ah!
He just got mad.
He got mad, bro. But he tapped into
That's
that
a nice
other person.
combination too to drop him.
He tapped into that other person.
Who is he fighting here?
Yeah, no, Strikeforce was the best at this, bro. Strikeforce would always get you dudes that you knew you'd be okay against. Strikeforce was the best at that.
What do you think about this?
I would fight dudes and then they would never be in Strikeforce again.
Oh, really?
In the beginning, like there'd be a guy, he'd fight me, I would beat him, and then I'd never see him again.
So they just got you good fights.
They would get me fights because my first fight was in Strikeforce. Mm-hmm. So I'd fight so if I was a wrestler, it was like another kid who was a wrestler, but he was a high school wrestler. So then, hey, if push comes to shove, Daniel can out-wrestle this dude.
Right.
One dude was my training partner. I had a really good sparring session against him. Next week, I needed an opponent. That dude was in there. I knocked him out. It was the first time I knocked somebody out. Yeah, the Strikeforce was really good about that.
What do you think about Bellator and the PFL combining? Mm-hmm. Do you think that's going to lead to anything? Isn't it interesting that like people don't care that much about shit that's outside the UFC?
Isn't it crazy? Yeah. Because the UFC has developed such a lead on everybody. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, it really is like now, whereas before when Strikeforce got absorbed, you had Ronda and Nick Diaz and Gilbert Melendez and myself and Luke Rockhold and Jacare and
Josh
Thompson and Alistair Overeem and Josh Barnett and all these guys, right?
Yep.
So it felt like not a competitor, but at least a legit number two where you had championship level fighters fighting. Bellator has that.
Yeah.
But the UFC has now grown to a point where it's like the NFL in fighting. And as there is nothing else in basketball that we compare to the NBA or to the NFL, CFL, XFL, all that, that's how it is with the UFC. So it's like no matter what they do, it's never going to feel as important. Right. When in reality, they have some really good fighters.
Yeah.
Some really good. Patchy Mix is really good. Johnny Eblin is really good. But as long as they're not fighting inside that octagon, it'll be hard for them to feel like it. But I think it's good. I think you're taking the number 2 and 3 promotions in the world, combining them. It's just crazy that even in doing that, it still feels like a distant second to the UFC.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be that way. As long as the UFC doesn't fall apart, like if Dana leaves or
Dana can't leave, bro.
They could sell it again.
They could sell it again, but I mean, why would they? Why would it never ever sell that? They shouldn't. It's like their biggest.
Come along, like the Saudis.
The Saudis and buy. What about when the Saudis just bought the PGA Tour? I'm like, how you gonna buy the PGA Tour?
You don't think they could do that with the UFC?
Yeah, they could buy anything.
Yeah, they just
a lot of money.
It.
They just overvalue it. Yeah. They could, but
they easily could.
They could just buy anything.
It's going to be interesting to see if someone with this new merger, if they change the name, if they stick with the PFL, what are they going to do?
So what I heard is Bellator does pretty good overseas, so they're going to run their events over there.
Oh.
Right? So it's going to kind of become an international company.
Okay.
And
the PFL is going to be where they
stay the PFL, right? And they'll do like a champion versus champion thing. ESPN just extended their contract with the PFL, but there's no mention of Bellator, right?
You know, I really want to see Johnny Eblin in the UFC.
I do. He's good, man.
He's very good.
He's a very good fighter.
He's very good. You see that fight with Leon's brother?
Yes. But could he fight at 185 in the UFC, or does he have to go to 70? He doesn't look that big.
We'll find out.
I think he would have to probably go to 170, right? Even like the 205-pounder.
Nemkov?
Nemkov. He'd have to go to 85 because he's good, but he's just not that big.
What kind of testing are they doing over?
Not
Bellator?
much, right? That's another reason I'm saying that without saying it. Like I think those guys would probably have to get a little smaller to fight at their right weight classes. But I think it's a big deal. I just think that
I'm just happy if the fighters are getting more money. Just like these $1 million contracts. I think that's great.
Guys are making more money today than they've ever made.
Olivier Mercier just got $1 million.
Two.
Used to fight. Yeah, that's
he
right.
won that twice. Yeah, he won that 2 times in a row. He would have never made that.
No.
Partly due because he wouldn't have been able to find that level of success. Right. Those guys are too tough. Even Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson had not looked great in his last few UFC appearances. He went to the PFL. Looked fantastic. And now he's back on the right track. So good for him.
I got to wrap this up, DC.
Yeah, that's fine, baby. It was awesome.
Shows tonight.
Oh, I'm coming.
Yeah, I'm so happy we got to hang.
Dude, I'm actually coming to the show. I can't wait. I watched you in Chicago once, and I'm coming to watch you again.
Let's go.
Let's go, Joe.
All
Thanks for having me,
brother. All right, bye, everybody. You're the man.